Well, hello everyone. Happy Friday. It's Friday. Damn. Feels good. Feels good. Every day's the same for me though. I'm just kidding. Happy Friday, guys. What's on the agenda today? Today we're going to be doing a lot of photo edits, similar to yesterday. We're going to focus on Sri Lanka, however you pronounce it. Yeah, that's what we got in store for today. How's everyone doing? Happy Friday again. Hopefully everyone's got some fun weekend plans. I got a buddy of mine who's back in town. He kind of left for a while because of the war situation in Dubai, which is where I'm from. So he was hanging out in a different country. He is back now, so a couple of my buddies were just gonna grab some drinks over the weekend. So that's the only thing I've got planned for this weekend. Besides that, I'll just be doing my normal boring life, which is editing photos and videos and, you know, the usual. Welcome, guys. Just for a quick little introduction, I'm Yobel. I go by YobelPrize. I am a wildlife and travel photographer and filmmaker. Yeah, YouTuber, live streamer now, all of the above. And I've been trying to stream about 3 to 5 times a week, something in that ballpark, ever since I started streaming about a year ago. And usually during these streams, I'm not really a gamer per se. I don't do like those kinds of things. I wish I could make my money just playing video games. Come on, that is the dream. But no, what I do is I have so many photos and videos and stuff that I have to create content from my travels. I've been traveling almost nonstop for the past 2 to 3 years. Within that period, majority of it, I was traveling. So I have like about 100 to 150 terabytes worth of footage from over a dozen countries that I've been, you know, on different trips for. So how much of that content have I gotten through? Well, unfortunately, I'm very slow and methodical, which has its benefits, but one of the negatives is that it takes me a freaking long time to get through everything. So if you check out my YouTube channel, the most recent travel series or trip that I had completed was Mongolia, and that was from February of 2024, I believe. And then I'm kind of breaking the chronology. I made a travel vlog episode very recently, which you can check out on my YouTube channel, where I did a photo, like a street photo and street video challenge across about 6 to 7 days when I was in Munich very recently, Munich, Germany. I was there for a 2-month period, a stretch of 2 months in between a bunch of travel projects. I was staying with a friend. So I did technically kind of do a bit of a travel vlog from that trip, which is more recent. However, in between that and February 2023, I had a number of trips. So one of those trips that I'll be trying to hopefully get through in the next few days is Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka was March of 2024. So that's the next one from that chronological order. So yeah, my goal is I have a bunch of photos that I took and a lot of videos that I captured. So during these streams, I kind of treat it as like a kill 2 birds with 1 stone situation, where one, I will be hopefully creating content for you guys. Hopefully I'll be entertaining enough for anyone who hops in across my stream. I'm streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. So wherever you decide or wherever you happen to stumble upon my content, hopefully I can entertain. Most of the content will be focused on how to edit photos, how to edit videos. You'll be watching me learn how to edit photos and videos as well, mostly learning how to edit videos because that's been a more recent part of my learning curve. And then I'll be watching a lot of YouTube videos while I multitask. And usually those videos will be pertaining to what I just mentioned, photo, video editing, stuff like that, being a YouTuber. So that's kind of one prong of it. The other prong is because hopefully during these streams, I'm just crushing through all this stuff that I have to get through anyways. So hopefully I'll be productive. And the photos and videos that I edit, those will eventually become YouTube videos or Instagram posts, things like that. So that's kind of the gist of what you'll be watching during my streams. So I'm just double checking everything's good to go. I have done something new to my overlay, because I mentioned I have this Elgato teleprompter fixed to the front of my lens currently as we speak from this front facing this full screen camera you see on me. But the beauty of this Elgato teleprompter is it doubles as a screen. It's like a literal mini monitor display. So technically it's like having a third screen. I have one screen over here, one over here, and then now I have this camera right in the middle of it all. So I figured maybe what I'll do is I'm gonna play YouTube videos from this teleprompter screen so that it doesn't get in the way of my photo editing monitor. So that way I can do full screen editing photos and videos. Because if you've been watching any of my recent streams, I've constantly have this struggle where, you know, if I'm watching a YouTube video, where the heck do I place the little mini window of the video somewhere on my screen while I'm editing photos and videos without it kind of getting in the way? So it's been a little bit haphazard, a bit impromptu in terms of my approach. Now, you'll see in a second, I think I've found a solution, which is you'll see a little extra screen off to the side. So I had to do a little bit of rejiggering and kind of adjusting some things, but you'll see in a second. I'm just double checking to make sure everything is good to go. Besides that, oh yeah, I should also introduce my cats every time I do the stream, although they're kind of hanging around somewhere else because I just fed them. But as part of watching my live streams, the extra benefit you get is sometimes my cats will decide to join me. You can hear one of them right now meowing very loudly, even though I just fed him. He's just going crazy. But if they do decide to join, I've got a couple cameras set up for 2 of these beds that they like to hang out near me with. So we'll see if they hop in. What else? Is everything else good to go? Double checking. I think so. One moment. Travel. Okay, give me 1 second. My cats are going crazy behind me. There's like some empty bags and stuff. So let me clear that first, and then we'll really get started. Be right back. Time seemed to stand still as we trekked deeper into the forest, always just a step behind the chimps we were tracking. But there was no rush, no anxiety, just the forest setting our pace, its ambient sounds lulling us into a tranquil state of zen. I was at peace. Okay, I just bribed my cats with some treats, so hopefully that means they'll calm down. Sometimes they get so wound up, especially after I gave them food too, of all things. But yeah, so you can see Kim. Oh yeah, well, I might as well say hi now since they're here. We got Kimpop over here. He's making his way. Look at my handsome little lad. And there's Nala as well. Hopefully they don't fight. They're expecting more food, so we'll see. And there's the ass of my second cat, Nala. All right, anyways, so those are my 2 cats, Kimpop and Nala. Sometimes they'll join us on our stream. All right, now I think we're ready. Let's go get started. So how are we gonna do this? I have my editing. Let's see if it works. Perfect, okay. So this might not be ideal. I'm going to test this. So today's the first time I'm really testing this. But ideally what I can do is now I'll have a little miniature screen over on the top right where you can see whatever YouTube videos I decide to play. At the same time, we will be editing everything full screen over here. Hey, keep up. No, no, no. Look at this guy. He knows he's not. Come on, sit. No, no, no. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Come on, Kimbap. This guy, Kimbap, all he ever thinks about is food. It's like there's no other mode. I mean, he's either sleeping or he's just thinking of food. I think he dreams food at the same time too. So I just gave him one little treat, and now, well, to be fair, I think Nala's doing the same thing. She's trying to make her way over here. Come on, guys. Oh, there's Nala. Come on. What are you guys doing? Hmm? Okay, I gotta edit some photos and stuff. Come on. Yeah. All right. Let's get started. Yeah? Shall we? Shall we? We shall. Hey. Oh, okay. Listen, I have no treats for you. I mean, I do have treats for them, but I'm not trying to... I just fed them. This was just to keep you guys calm, and I did the opposite effect. Now they're a little bit more wound up. Alright, chill, guys. Let's get started. No, Nala. Come on. Come on. No, Nala. All right, I guess today's stream is just my cats. I mean, they are kind of the owners of this. Look at these guys, though. I do like this camera view. Hey, don't go on the desk. So, while we're here, I might as well explain. Right now, I am shooting with the Nikon Z9 for this camera view. It's with the 35mm f1.2 lens. So, you know, gets some nice quality. I have no idea what the settings are right now for it. I did turn down the lighting a bit, so it's a bit nice and low lighting situation. Yo, we got Kavai in the chat. Kavai says, hello, Yobel, long time no see. Yeah, it's been a while. How's everything been? Hopefully, hey, Nala. Man, my cats are going crazy. It's because they know I just gave them a little bit of treats. Because they were going crazy behind me, like chasing after these empty bags and stuff. So I was trying to give them some treats to calm them down. But I did the opposite effect. Now they're just like, give me more. Come on, Nala. Get back. No. Kavai, how's it going, man? Good to see you. How's the Huskies doing? All right, I think my cat... There we go. Okay, I think we're reaching some sort of equilibrium. Let's get back into what we're supposed to do. All right. All right, so here's what we're trying to do. Over on the top right, I should have a mini screen. So I figured this is where I can play the YouTube videos in full screen mode without it overlapping or affecting the visual over on the right, or I guess to your left, where I can do full screen photo editing or video editing. So what I have planned is I just want to open up a number of YouTube videos that we can kind of watch as we work. There will never be another Anthony Bourdain. Now that's a... Hey, Nala, what are you doing? Why you don't like yourself on camera? I mean, I kind of know why, but this guy looks so jolly. I'm sure he doesn't like being called that because he kind of got that caricature. But let's load this one up as well. Hey, come on. Nala, stop. Stop, Nala. All right. Let's go. Which video do we start? Osmo Pocket 4P versus Insta360 Luna Ultra. Which one is better? Now, regardless, even if they say Luna Ultra is better, I'm probably going to get the Osmo Pocket because I am kind of bought into the DJI system. So All right, let me pause the music. There we go. All right, let's see if this works. If I full screen this guy, will it? Hells yeah. Okay. Here we go.
There's something
What the hell? Why is the captions in Arabic? There we go.
about unboxing a brand new camera that never gets old. But with these pocket cameras, it's different. I find myself coming up with crazy ideas with rigs and tripods and gadgets. And the best part is seeing that shot come to life.
Oh, one thing, because right now I started editing some of the photos from the very last Sri Lanka trip that I did, which I mentioned was March of 2023. However, I've been to Sri Lanka twice before, years before that. So I figure in the same thing I've done, if you check out my YouTube channel, I've done a few of these videos now where I just show like the top photos that I've taken in different countries. I want to do the same thing for Sri Lanka. So I figure I'm going to look through all the top photos I've ever taken across every trip to Sri Lanka, which is only 3. And then same thing, I'll turn it into like a montage video on YouTube. So, come on, Nala. Man, I thought kimbap was bad. You're just as bad. Go, come on. Stop. No food. No food. I can only say no to my cats so often, and then they usually end up winning because they're cats, but... Okay, so I have I have a hard drive loaded up here. Come on, Nala. No fighting. They're doing their death stare. Hey. Nala, who started it? Was it you? Huh? Nala, look at me. Was it you? No fighting, huh? She's side-eyeing me right now. Come on, no fighting. Just relax. Okay. Man, you can't leave cats alone, can you? What was I saying? So I have, in one of my hard drives, which I was currently backing up, but since it's loaded in already, I have one of my Sri Lanka trips in here from 2018. So I figured, you know what? Let's go through all these photos first, drag in any of the, the best shots, and then I'll edit those as well. So I'm going to do a little bit of sorting. Now, this is going to be a little bit embarrassing, is a little bit too strong of a word. But I want you to have a caveat in mind. These are photos that I took from 2018, April of 2018, years ago, okay? This is like roughly after, not too long after I moved to Dubai. I was still I was maybe like 2 years into photography, if that. And I definitely had never done wildlife photography before. So this is the first time I ever did a proper like wildlife safari, okay? So up until this point in my life, I've never been on a safari or anything like that. I didn't know what to expect. So keep that in mind. And also in terms of the lenses that I was shooting with, I think I was shooting with a 70 to 200. I think that was the max. Because usually when I was traveling with the 70-200 f2.8 and the 24 to 70. And I wonder what camera body. I'm assuming it was like a Nikon. It might have been a Nikon D810. Does it say anywhere? Metadata. No, that's not how it works. Oh, okay, here we go. D850. Okay, so I took some with the D850 and with the D810. So yeah, I was shooting with D810, D850, great cameras. But again, the maximum lens I had was a 70-200, and I didn't know what I was doing whatsoever. So just keep those caveats in mind when you're looking through some of these photos with me, okay? Because listen, I haven't done a review yet, so we're gonna do it together. But when I was looking through, I quickly just did like a 2-star, 3-star, that kind of stuff. So imagine here, I choose 3-star photos, and I'm looking at my photos, and it's so disgusting. It's like, oh my God. The way I color graded is nasty. Some of the photos that I thought were worth a 3-star, 4-star, or whatever are also terrible. Just like, yeah, I mean, I'm saying this with a smile on my face because it's always good to see how much you've developed and how much you've learned. So this is all positive. But my God, it's almost cringe inducing to see what photos that I thought were like a 5-star photo. There are some good ones that it's actually going to be fun to review these photos and then redo them, right? Try to re-edit with hopefully a bit more understanding in mind. So we'll see how it goes. I'm actually excited. Guten Abend. Daytor in the chat says, hello, everyone. Hello back at you. Kavai also says hello back to you. Thanks for being here, Daytor and Kavai. So now that my cats are kind of calmed down, I believe, yeah. You guys can't see Kimbap, but he's basically in between my cameras. So he's literally right behind Nala. So instead of sitting on the bed, he's decided to sit on my little cabinet. So, oh yeah, you can see his tail. That's all we get today. So, you know, what can you do? All right, so let's play the video and let's start editing. But look at this. Okay, before we start the video, just check out these photos that I took. They're so nasty, right? These were 70 to 200. Can I tell actually? Yeah, 200 millimeters. Just, my God. And you can see the raw photo and then how I edited the photo at the time as an example here. Oh, I do remember this phase in my life where I thought being a good photographer, or like, I thought one of the things about editing these photos, you oversaturate, okay? I fell prey to the same thing a lot of amateur photographers fall prey to, in my opinion, which is when you're starting out, you think that saturating your photo is actually what makes your photo better. Especially when you take the raw photo, like as you see it here, you see that it's very flat. There's not a lot of colors. So then you overcompensate. Your assumption is slightly correct. You're like, oh, I need to add colors then, right? But then you overcorrect. And that's what, you know, basically I was doing throughout all this. And also I just didn't know how to play with these greens especially. So I went with these very poppy, like bright green color, and it's just not the prettiest. But at the time, I thought I was cooking, okay? I thought I found something. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be embarrassing to see some of these photos. But like I said, there were a few photos in this bunch that I really ended up enjoying. And some of them that I still show to this day as like, actually, here's one of them. Where'd it go? I just saw it briefly and it's gone. There's this one photo of an elephant that I took here. And I eventually did, you know, a bunch of different versions of this photo edits from like a preset standpoint. But in terms of the composition, this turned out really nice to be able to have a shot where you get like an obscured subject, in this case, the elephant. And given the size of the elephant, it actually adds a little bit to the story, to the image, to see partially a big ass elephant. So it kind of conflicts with what you imagine in your mind, where you can't hide an elephant. You know, these things are massive, but we're getting this kind of perspective where it does look like it's trying to hide, or it's like doing its best to mimic a tiger or a lion, like on a hunt. And then you are thankfully able to see one of the eyes in focus here. So these colors are not good. We'll obviously, when we get to this, we'll re-edit this. But in terms of the composition, this actually ended up being one of my favorite shots. And then we got some others. So, all right, let's start doing a bit of rinsing, and let's play this video out.
This is the Osmo Pocket 4P, and this is the Insta360 Luna Ultra. This is not a sponsored video. I didn't sign any NDAs. Neither DJI or Insta360 sent me over these cameras. I bought the Pocket 4P on eBay for a pretty penny, and I borrowed the Luna Ultra from a buddy who works at B&H Photo. Also, I'm a real human being, and nothing in this video was created using AI. If you'd like to test out some of the footage that I got with the 4P...
Man, that's so crazy that... Oh my God, I think this is the first video I've seen where they actually make that stipulation of like, hey, I have to give a disclaimer that nothing was made with AI. This is me. This is my voice, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of crazy. I mean, it obviously it's a bit expected that it would happen. But damn, we've entered the world where we have to prove to people, or at least say it publicly, like, hey, this ain't AI. It's a little bit dark.
Or the Luna Ultra. I left free project files in the description in case you want to download them and check them out. Okay, I've seen a lot of people saying that the 4P is overall a better pocket camera than the Luna Ultra. But as you can see here in this controlled lighting overhead shot, I'm not so sure about that. See if you can tell the difference and let me know which one you think is which. I noticed that active track locks on really...
Okay, can we tell the difference?
See if you can tell the difference and let me know which one you think is which. I noticed that active track locks on really well with both cameras, even in tougher contrast shots like this with the camouflage RC car. Even the stabilization when we're at 3x zoom isn't all that different.
Well,
both cameras...
I mean, if the end result of this video is this guy says they're both fairly similar, to me that's a good sign. Because like I said, I'm very biased in that I will probably end up going with the Osmo Pocket 4, just because like I said, I've bought into the DJI system. So now if he were to come out of this video and say like, yo, the Luna blah blah blah, it's so much better, it has all these features that the Pocket doesn't have, then I'd be concerned, because like, damn it, I kind of want those. But let's see.
Delivered pretty smooth results. And look at how both cameras put out a very similar image quality. The color science is different, but the image quality at 4K is about the same. All right, before I show you which camera is which, if you decide to pick up the Osmo Pocket 4P, I've created a comprehensive course on how to use it, set it up from scratch, and go out and get amazing cinematic shots with it. Also, I created film look LUTs for both of these cameras. I'll leave links to those products in the description. Camera A was the Osmo Pocket 4P, camera B was the Luna Ultra. I'll show you those shots one more time so you can get a good look at it while I tell you about both cameras. The Luna Ultra starts at $769 US, and if you're lucky you could find an Osmo Pocket 4P for under $1,000 in the US on eBay, but it sells for about $749 in mainland China. Let's start with these lenses because that's probably one of the biggest reasons these two cameras are being compared. The Pocket 4P has a dual lens setup. You get 20mm equivalent wide lens, or also with the 1x camera, and 60mm equivalent medium telephoto lens with the 3x camera. The Luna Ultra also has a 20mm wide lens and a 60mm telephoto lens, so on paper both of these cameras are giving you the same basic idea. A wider lens for everyday shooting and a tighter lens. At 12x zoom, both cameras have more of a camcorder look, almost like a digital zoom here, but I thought it would be a fun comparison to see the difference between both. I do think that the 4P did a better job with this shot as far as detail goes, and don't forget that we are being backlit here, so I didn't expect much of a great looking shot anyways. And I also want to point out something here with the Luna Ultra. I noticed that when I exposed both cameras the exact same, the Luna Ultra always seemed to be a tad bit more overexposed than the Pocket 4P. You will see that as this video unfolds. I also tested out both cameras at 12x zoom in a low light situation to see how it would throw the colors off and how much noise there would be. I think both cameras performed poorly here, but the Pocket 4P did a lot better when it came to retaining true looking colors, even though there's a lot of noise in this shot. The Luna Ultra, on the other hand, we get a lot more saturation. Not sure exactly why this is, but it pulled a lot of that red out of the brick. In a studio lighting environment like this, I do think the Pocket 4P does better than the Luna Ultra, especially when it comes to my skin tone.
All right, look at this cat. She is adorable. I have some treats on my desk because I gave them some earlier, and then there's some like little bits and pieces left for them. And that's what's causing them to go crazy. There's nothing. Nothing. Come on. Oh, there's my other one.
My exposure settings were 4K resolution, ISO was set to 100, and my shutter speed was set to 1/50. And when I saw this shot, I was like, oh my gosh, I could actually use the Pocket 4P camera as my studio headshot camera, which is crazy. I mean, I could use the Luna Ultra as well for a shot like this, but I just felt like something looked off, almost like skin tone that you get from a smartphone. And the worst thing that you can do if you want to shoot skin tone is turn on beauty effect, which I did by accident with the Luna Ultra, and it just looks terrible. So make sure you don't turn that on by accident. But in a turn of event, when I'm in a low light environment and I'm doing vlog type shots like this, I think the Luna Ultra happened to do a better job. I did have to go back and double check to make sure that the file was correct for the Pocket 4, and it's not terrible here, I just thought the Luna Ultra did a lot better. When I saw the shot, I was like, dang, that looks a lot better than the 4P, at least to my eyes when it comes to the skin tone, especially when we compare that to the controlled lighting studio headshot. And I was also pretty surprised to see that in just a basic low light condition, both cameras handled that pretty well. These two shots were so close that I don't think anyone would even really know the difference. Again, this is in 4K 24 frames per second. Because I'm in the United States, if I wanted to get shots like this, there'd really be no reason for me to pay the extra money to get the Pocket 4P. Even with this low light shot here, there's not much of a difference other than the color of the red that's in that neon sign, which I happen to like the Luna Ultra better. Although I must admit, the Pocket 4P does have more of a cinematic or movie-like look to it. This is the standard color profile shooting with the 1x camera. The Luna Ultra does a great job here too, but I do think it lifts up those midtones a little bit and brightens up that image. I'll explain more here what I mean in a minute. Like I showed you in the beginning of this video, this particular shot, a couple of things stuck out to me with the bunny and the background. First of all, the woods in the background have more of a neon look with the Luna Ultra. There's no denying that the shot with the Pocket 4P just looks better. You can just tell that it has more dynamic range. That's a shot that I really love. And if I wasn't putting these two cameras side by side, I probably would be fine with the shot. But once you put it side by side, you can't unsee the dynamic range that you get with the Pocket 4P. And to go back to that tighter shot that we got with the 3x camera, I thought the Luna Ultra seems to be a little bit more exposed than the Pocket 4P, even though
All right, so far, promising. Yo, what's happening? Conan says, I saved 5 yesterday. Saved 5 what? 5 bunnies? How's it going, Conan? Good to have you in here. So far, the guy is saying some good stuff. It sounds like he's leaning towards the Pocket 4, which is great. So
exposed the exact same. The composition, the colors, everything looks so good with the 4P. The highlights and the shadows all stay in check. It almost makes me think that if I just underexposed the Luna a little bit more, I probably would have been able to get a very similar looking shot of the bunny, but some people might like this brighter look. And you may have noticed the same thing here with this shot and the 3x camera, how the Luna Ultra is just a little bit more overexposed than the Pocket 4P. But there's also a big difference when it comes to watercolor. You get a little bit more of a deeper, dark water reflection with the Pocket 4P and the ability to shoot in 4K 240, whereas the water reflection with the Luna Ultra is a little bit brighter and you can only shoot in 4K up to 120. If you want to shoot in 240, you'll have to do that in 1080. When I shot both cameras in their log profiles, I thought they both did a pretty great job. Grading D-Log 2 was a lot better than grading the iLog from the Luna Ultra. The only holdup that I have with the Pocket 4P is it can only shoot in D-Log 2 with the 1x camera. So if I want to switch to the 3x camera, I have to switch it back over to the regular D-Log. The Luna Ultra's iLog doesn't have as much dynamic range as the Pocket 4P's D-Log 2, but it does have about the same amount of dynamic range as D-Log 1. And when I'm doing talking head shots like this, I prefer to shoot in the 3x camera with both of them. And the problem then is that I can only shoot in D-Log when I shoot with the 3x camera for studio talking head shots like this. D-Log doesn't color grade as good as D-Log 2, and D-Log 2 you can take your ISO all the way down to 100, whereas regular D-Log you have to take it to 400. I did have auto white balance set for both cameras, and as you can see, my white balance was a little bit off with the Luna Ultra, something that I probably should have paid attention to when I was doing this shoot. And to give you an example of the difference between D-Log 2 and regular D-Log, look at how I'm able to recover the skies with D-Log.
come on now, man. So we're not even halfway through the photos that I took from this first trip to Sri Lanka, 2018. But I gotta say, looking at these photos, it is insane how bad, how terrible most of these photos are. And to be fair to me, most of these never saw the light of day. So even though you can see some of these, I did edit the photos. It's not like I had posted these onto my Instagram at the time. But I had taken the time to try to edit them. It's just, it's so laughable. Like, even like here, some of the photos I'm taking, it's just capturing these really bad profiles, like the side profile or when the elephant's looking away, or shooting at like a very high angle. Yeah, like terrible compositions. Yeah, like shooting the ass of the subject and thinking that's good enough. I don't know. There's a lot of these where it's like, damn, what was I thinking? But, you know, obviously I'm being very critical. This was my first time shooting wildlife, so I think if I could put myself into the mind of younger me, I was probably, and this hasn't changed, I was pretty sure I'm just like, let me machine gun and take as many photos as possible, because I don't want to miss a moment. I want to hopefully capture as much as I can, and then in post figure out what I did wrong and stuff. So Nala, what are you doing? Come on, get out. There's no food. But yeah, damn, these photos. I do remember this trip specifically. Come on, Nala. She thinks she's... Oh, you okay? What are you doing? Don't be an idiot. I do remember on this trip, the first time I saw a peacock, I was like amazed. I was like, holy shit, that's a peacock. And it must be funny to be the safari guide, the driver on this, because I'm sure he gets this all the time, because I've seen the same effect. For a tourist like me, I see this, especially on my first time doing a game drive. I was like, yo, stop the car, we gotta, and I was taking so many photos of this freaking peacock, and it's not even like the pretty one. And then what you end up learning is, in Sri Lanka at least, and also in India, there are peacocks everywhere. So after like the 5th or 10th time of stopping the car so you can take photos of peacocks, you eventually realize that this is like such a common animal. It's like seeing a pigeon basically in the city. So all right, let's keep watching.
To shooting with the 1x camera with the Pocket 4P. This shot was initially overexposed a little bit, but as you can see, I was able to color grade it and bring those highlights back down and recover those skies. Whereas when I'm using iLog with the Luna Ultra, I can't really bring back those skies too much. I see a little bit of texture in the skies, but overall, skies look a little overexposed to me. And then on the flip side, when I underexpose D-Log 2 in a low light environment like this, I'm able to bring back a lot of that shadow detail. Even though I do see some noise underneath the bridge, that looks like a pretty good shot. To me, that says that the Pocket 4P is better overall when you want to shoot just everyday footage in its D-Log profile or D-Log 2 profile. Just know that you can only use the 1x camera. That's going to help a lot with any missed exposed shots. Whereas the Luna Ultra also does a great job, but iLog is just not good as D-Log 2. In fact, if I was shooting in a low light environment like this with the Luna Ultra, I would only use the standard color profile. But with that being said, in good lighting environments like this RC plane shot where I was shooting in 4K 60 frames per second, I think either log profile will do just fine, especially when you're using color LUTs to colorize your footage. I always tell people that use LUTs on footage that you should drag the LUT on and then take it down to maybe 80%, because 100% is just too rich of colors in a lot of situations. I like to add a LUT to my footage and then pull it down between 70 and 80%, and then make my own adjustments with my color wheels. That way I get the best of both worlds. But the same thing here with this driving shot, which was shot with the 1x camera. You can tell that the lighting environment is great. We have a lot of light hitting this composition. And because of that, I'm able to grade both of these shots about the same. D-Log 2 with the Pocket 4P and iLog with the Luna Ultra. And because of that lighting situation, you can't really tell a big difference between D-Log 2 and regular iLog, as long as the lighting is good. It's for that reason that I'm all in with the Insta360 Luna Ultra's iLog, as long as the lighting conditions are good enough. Now here's an interesting observation that I had when it comes to overhead shooting configurations like this with the standard color profile. The Osmo Pocket 4P looks a little oversaturated to my eyes. Like if I was actually shooting this shot in a real world situation, I probably would have to bring down the saturation a tad, which I don't want to do because I'm shooting in the standard color profile. Whereas the Luna Ultra, on the other hand, I feel like skin tones look pretty good to my eyes. Maybe they're a little bit overexposed, but overall, I like it better. And when it comes to normal, just everyday shooting in their standard color profiles, I feel like both cameras do a very good job, especially when you compare it to something like a smartphone. I do think I overexposed this shot a little bit, but really what you're looking at here is the color straight out of camera, not using any log, just the standard color profile. And the Luna Ultra, same thing here. We're just looking at the standard color profile. Looks fine to me. You can tell it's different than shooting in log, but it still doesn't look too oversaturated or digital. However, when you're shooting a shot like this, you can really see a dynamic range difference between both cameras in their standard color profiles. Yes, this is the straight out of box look that you would get if you just pulled it out and started to record, but you can still see the skies with the Pocket 4P. Whereas the Luna Ultra, it looks like those skies are being overexposed. And I'm telling you, I expose both cameras the exact same way. With interior product shots like this, I don't see much of a difference when it comes to their standard color profile. I could use either one of these two cameras if this was the type of shot that I was going for. I didn't notice...
Quick pause. I remember being so proud of this photo. Like, man, I did a good job. Well, like, look at the sky. I brought back all these colors in the sky and everything. I gave myself a pat on the back at the time. Which again, just kind of shows you how far we come. Man. And you know what? It was so much work too. Because this is also back when there wasn't the same kind of like auto, was it? Let me see. Yeah. See, this was before all the amazing Lightroom AI features. So there was no like auto subject detection, background detection, sky detection. So you literally can see here where I had to take a manual brush and I was just literally having to go through, you know, section by section, trying to get as clean as possible across everything that was the sky and then apply whatever effects to it. Now that's like all done in a single button. So it's kind of crazy, but yeah, it was, I mean, I'm glad I had to do it the hard way. Definitely learn a lot from it, but never again. The clouds kind of look interesting here, so I might want to save one of these just to see if we get a cool, potentially cool shot, like a silhouette shot. We'll see. Yeah, maybe this one.
It's a big difference when it came to stabilization, not only handheld walking shots like this in low light, but also using active track with that inverted monopod tripod shot that we saw earlier in the video with that RC car. It's not like the ground is going up and down here as I'm walking. I'm not the most stabilized walker either. I think both cameras did great when it came to stabilization. I didn't have to add any post-production stabilization to either of these shots. This is just me literally floating the cameras right above the ground, trying to keep that car right in the center. I do notice though we have that issue with the foliage in the background where it kind of turns neon green. It also looks a little overexposed to my eyes. And again, I exposed both cameras the exact same way. And speaking about active track, I was curious on how both cameras would be able to track something even if something got in the way of it, like this stump that you just saw. The Pocket 4P really didn't miss a beat when it came to losing that visual track that it had, and it caught right back up when the car revealed itself on the other side of the stump. The Luna Ultra did lose it for a second, but it was able to catch back onto it, which is definitely acceptable, but I just thought it would be worth noting that the 4P did a lot better when it comes to active track. When I shoot in 4K 120, I noticed that both cameras didn't do the best when it came to staying focused on the subject if the subject was moving towards the camera. I tried doing continuous focus with this particular shot, and same thing with the Luna Ultra. My focus just kind of went right past the boat as I got to a certain point, but I guess we're not at that point yet where cameras can read what you want them to do. Hopefully we get that with the Osmo Pocket 5 or the Luna Ultra 2. AI is not enough for me. I say we vote for mind reading on the next generations of these cameras. So in the end, I like the Osmo Pocket 4P better because ultimately I think it has a better overall image quality. The dynamic range is better. It's able to hold on to those highlights, and the skin tones in a controlled lighting environment look so much better in my eyes. Also that D-Log 2, I would just ask that DJI release a firmware update that gives us D-Log 2 across every focal length if possible. But I'm also a huge fan of this first generation Insta360 Luna Ultra. For a company stepping into the pocket camera space, Insta360 really did an impressive job. DJI and Insta360 probably hate each other. The Luna Ultra is sharp, it's fun to shoot, it has a great lens setup. You can remove the display for distant monitoring and also use it as an audio setup. So while the Pocket 4P is the camera that I would personally choose when it comes to image quality, I think the Luna Ultra is a lot more fun, in some cases a little bit easier to use, and a great beginner camera. With that being said, I did find that the menu was a little glitchy. It didn't really...
Okay, good video. So it sounds like we are in the clear. The Osmo Pocket 4 is definitely the one I would get, because obviously I do care about image quality quite a bit. But yeah, it's I love competition, right? So it's always good to see that Insta is coming out with something great, because then it keeps everyone on their toes, and hopefully us as customers get the best product because of it. So hells yeah.
For 25 years.
All right, let's watch this dude. He looks like Temu Jack Black. Why you don't like yourself on camera? I'm gonna only watch a little bit because I have other stuff to watch, but let's see this guy.
I film people on cameras like... For 25 years, I film people on cameras like this.
Now it's your turn.
You film yourself for the first time, you play it back. Something feels wrong, and you flinch. Who is that? I don't look like that. I don't sound like that too, do I? It's really tricky because that person is you. It's the version everyone else sees every single day, and you're the only one in the world who finds them a stranger. In this video, I'll show you the 3 reasons your brain rejects you on camera.
Okay, I mean, it sounds like a decent video, but I think I already know the answers to that for myself. All right, we got Marquise Brownlee in praise of brilliant voiceover. Oh yeah, Adobe is completely effed. The key. All right, let's watch this guy.
Adobe products used to feel like a safe pair of hands that always worked. You'd really struggle to complain with anything. But now they're just something else entirely, and everyone's sick of them. The software you used to buy once and own forever, you now rent by month at a price that climbs every year. We lost the tools we could trust and own, and in exchange we got rising subscriptions, mandatory AI nobody asked for, and a fee for the privilege of leaving. But Adobe is finally getting what they deserve, caught in a death spiral where all of their greed and cynical corporate strategy are catching up with them. And even then, their CEO still claims it's never been better.
I actually believe that there's going to be more opportunity for creative companies than ever before. We are an extremely profitable company and we're growing. This year, double digits.
And somehow, he's exactly right. Their figures are shooting through the roof. It's actually been their best year ever. A record $23.8 billion in revenue. So then, why have their stocks crashed magnificently by around 65% from their peak, which goes against the entire tech market boom right now? Even with record profits, the market hates them. Well, this is because there's something much stranger going on with the company that redefined creativity for a generation. It's all just the endpoint of a process they've been orchestrating deliberately for years. You see, Adobe used to be one of those companies whose products had everyone creating tutorials on how to do cool things in Photoshop, Illustrator, or After Effects. But now, you'll just find hundreds of tutorials on how to cancel those subscriptions. It looks easy, but it isn't. That's why these videos exist. Here's how the trap worked. When you signed up, Adobe steered you towards a plan called Annual Paid Monthly. It was pre-selected for you, and it looked like a simple month-to-month deal. Except it wasn't. What you'd agreed to was a year-long contract, and if you tried to leave before that year was up, Adobe charged you an early termination fee, worth half of everything you had left to pay, on a basic plan that was a surprise bill of hundreds of dollars, just for the crime of wanting to stop. And the best part? That fee was hidden in fine print, tucked behind tiny icons you had to hover over to even know it existed. Then there was the cancellation itself. You didn't just click a button, you got funneled through page after page of menus, discounts, and prompts. Every step was built to wear you down until you just gave up and kept on paying. The kind of thing the industry politely calls a dark pattern, meaning a user interface designed to trick you into doing things.
I feel like that's becoming more regulated against, right? I thought there was something recently, some kind of ruling, I don't know what country, where maybe it was like affecting Apple or Google, I don't know. Basically, they sided with the customer saying like this is a shady practice.
If you look on those how to cancel Adobe tutorials, you'll find thousands of comments from those who aren't able to, maybe because of an error or a missing button. It got so horrendous that in 2024, the government sued Adobe. The Department of Justice and the FTC accused them of trapping customers with hidden fees and a deliberately painful cancellation process, and they named 2 executives personally. So Adobe finally paid up, a $150 million settlement, all while denying any wrongdoing. But the other story is that users had something to cancel in the first place, and why? Until this, Adobe had honored one simple rule. You bought the software and it was yours. The full Creative Suite wasn't cheap, but you owned it. You could use it for a decade, and you only paid again when a new version was truly worth it. Then in 2013, Adobe killed that rule. It announced that Creative Suite 6 would be the last version anyone could ever buy outright. From now on, you didn't own Photoshop, you rented it every month forever, and the day you stopped paying was the day you lost the tools your career was built on. They gave it a warm, weightless name as if it were a gift. Behold the Creative Cloud. Overnight, a customer who paid once every few years became one who paid every single month. And once your life's work lived inside Adobe's files and formats, leaving meant incinerating all of it. The payoff was obscene. In its last year selling box software, Adobe made around $4 billion. A decade later, it pulls in over $23 billion a year. And most people badly underestimate how much more they hand over by renting it. The old Master Collection cost around $2,600, but you paid once and it was yours. The full Creative Cloud suite today costs up to $70 a month, a little over $840 a year, which means every 3 years of renting now costs you what the entire box suite used to cost to own outright. So a designer who's now paid every month since Creative Cloud landed in 2013 has actually handed Adobe well over $8,000. Or take a 40-year career. Even on the kindest possible assumption that Adobe would never raise prices again, even though this is something they've never once managed, the full suite at around $840 a year comes to over $33,000 in rent before you retire. But Adobe does raise the price, so you're probably looking at $60,000, ranging up to a grand total of $100,000 for one subscription. $100,000 just to do your job. $100,000 you could spend on a holiday or food or buying a house or raising a family. That single move became the most copied decision in modern business. Every executive in tech watched Adobe swap ownership for rent and get rich, then did the same to their own customers one industry at a time. Now we're just used to it, but just remind yourself, it never used to be like this. You don't own your music anymore, you rent it from Spotify. You don't own the films you buy on a streaming service. Amazon once reached into people's Kindles and deleted books they'd already paid for. And the book it deleted of all things was 1984. Your car insurance monitors your every move so it can price you correctly. Home ownership is at an all-time low. The list just goes on and on and on. The majority of people now have 5 to 8 subscriptions, as slowly all ownership is ground into dust. The subscription world you live in now, where almost nothing is truly yours, was built on what Adobe proved in 2013. You might have heard of techno-feudalism. The Greek economist Yanis Varoufakis' idea that the biggest tech companies own the land while everyone else works on it and pays for the privilege. Most people never even notice the arrangement they're living under. That's the world Yanis says we've drifted into.
Is to create enclosures in which we are like sheep, enclosed within them, and extract strength from us. The West slavery is one that you volunteer to.
And obviously your techno-feudal lords don't have your best interests at heart.
Do not fall into the trap of thinking that there is, a good techno-feudal.
Okay, I've at least gone. Oh wait, no, was that all from one day? Hold on a second. I might have jumped the gun. Was that one day of shooting? I thought it was all of it. Let me see. This is from Backblaze, Sri Lanka. Oh, it's because I'm an idiot. I thought I reviewed all the photos from the 2018 trip, but that was all photos from one day. So I still got 1, 2, 3 more days to review some photos and drag it over. Okay. All right, so not yet, but I am excited. Once we do drag over the top, quote unquote top photos from this trip, basically I'm going to re-edit those photos now. I'm going to review them, see how I would edit them differently, and see if some of them are worth keeping for like a top montage. All right, we'll see.
Lord.
Yanis isn't the only one noticing this and shouting it into the void. Slovenian philosopher Slavoj Žižek has been making the same argument, and 2 of them agreed fully on what's happening.
The key of this new corporative capitalism...
Oh, I've heard of this. I've heard this guy before. What's his name? Miss Puffles 698. 698? 698. What camera is it? The shots from these are all with the D810 and the D850. Nikon D810, Nikon D850. This is from back in 2018. So I hope you don't judge me too harshly in terms of the quality of what you're seeing right now. I swear we will have better results later. But I'm reviewing my most recent trip to Sri Lanka, which is back in 2024. And so I figured I might as well... I went to Sri Lanka, I think 2 times before that. Once is what you're seeing here in 2018, and then the second time I think was like in 2020, something like that. So I figured let me just review, go back in time, and try to find the best photos from these 2 other trips. I'm going to drag it in, and then we're going to re-edit a bunch of the top photos. And then eventually the goal is I'll create like the best of Sri Lanka. And then I'll post it on YouTube and Instagram or whatever else. But yeah, I'm looking at these photos and my God, the quality is not the best. I was mentioning, especially from a wildlife perspective, this was the first time I ever did wildlife photography. So looking at how little I knew, everything from not understanding composition, how to frame the subject in the shots, not understanding different lighting conditions, or just like understanding the best angles of the animals. I was just kind of shooting whatever I see. Not the best results, but it's kind of fun. It's good learnings. I think maybe what I'll do as well is this could end up being a YouTube video where I just kind of revisit my first wildlife photography trip ever. And literally as you see it here, but I'll record it and I'll do a bit of voiceover and kind of like go back in time and see how I edited some of these photos in the past compared to now, where I feel I am today. And then, it'll be a nice little feel-good moment. But yeah, man, these photos are nasty. For comparison, we haven't done too many photos yet. I haven't fully edited from the most recent Sri Lanka, but this is definitely my favorite. It's the top one from what we've edited so far. So this one I shot with the Z9, I believe. Is there a way I can check? Let's see. Yeah, so I shot with the Nikon Z9, and this is with the 400mm f2.8 lens, and I had switched on the built-in teleconverter. It's a 1.4x teleconverter, so it jumps up to 560 millimeters, and then at f4, and this was ISO 1250 and 1/125 seconds. And there's a bit of graininess to the shot here, but that's because I applied the noise afterwards just for creative effect. But the image itself was pretty clean when I was editing in the beginning. So yeah, we want all of those photos to be this quality, okay? Fingers crossed. So we did edit, let's see, this one. There's a couple of these owl photos as well. So some of these turned out decent. Got the monkey as well. This one's it's okay. And then these are the new ones that I need to re-edit. So we'll see what we can do with it. But thanks for your question. And we're gonna find, what was it? It was the second day, right? It was 2018. 2018 Udawalawe. No, this one. Day 3. All right, so while I'm kind of doing the review session, we're just watching random YouTube videos. This one's about why Adobe is completely effed.
Digital and so on, is that it's a new form of the privatization of commons. The very space in which even capitalists and workers and so on exchange stuff is controlled by them. That's the feudal moment.
And there's a more specific name for a company that behaves like this by colonizing aspects of our digital lives and then using it as a method of control. The big tech critic and political economist Brett Christophers calls it Erentia. The idea is that sometimes businesses earn their money by actually doing something. They make a product, they sell it, and they have to win you over all over again every time. Erentia doesn't work like that. You're not really a customer in that arrangement, you're a tenant, and if we're being honest, closer to a serf. You can take it from the World Economic Forum itself. On one of their own stages, 2 economists ironically laid out the exact racket.
The biggest topic here at Davos and the biggest topic around the world, and that is inequality. And in particular, we're going to be talking about rentier capitalism.
Rentier capitalism is about the existence of a system in which the return to private property rights exceeds the return to production.
A lot of it gets captured by things that are in very short supply or inelastic supply, and where you have property rights on that.
And the way you keep that supply scarce is simple. You make sure no rival is ever allowed to compete, thus making products a necessity like needing somewhere to live.
Those 5 platform corporations have bought up over 500 other corporations. So as soon as they become potentially competitive, they buy it up. These are powerful robber barons of the 21st century.
All of that set on a stage at the one event on the calendar most likely to be full of them. And let's not forget, these are the ones who invented that 2030 prediction for what they considered a utopia. Adobe is exactly what the rentier and techno-feudal models predict. When your customers can walk away, you have to keep the product well maintained. Quality sells, but when you rent a product because you need to, you don't get the joy and pleasure of ownership, and the product quality and features become an afterthought. But a company doesn't get this brazen by accident. It's a calculated, decades-long strategy. And so to understand how Adobe ended up treating their own customers like hostages, you have to go back to how they got this powerful in the first place. Like Microsoft, Google, and the others, Adobe built its empire on a monopoly. It was one of the great digital empires to emerge from the dot-com era. And like the other tech titans, it got there through a mix of true genius and ruthless deal-making. It started in 1982, when two engineers, John Warnock and Charles Geschke, left a company called Xerox and founded Adobe, named after the creek that ran behind
Okay, I mean, I don't want the full history of Adobe. I just want to know why specifically this guy's saying Adobe is effed. I know Adobe has had a pretty bad reputation of late. Every once in a while, I think like I would see on social media or wherever else, like people are just like straight up shitting on Adobe all the time. And I mean, I don't know enough of the history. All I know is I do spend way too much money for all of their services. It's so annoying. Compared to what we were mentioning, DaVinci and some of the other softwares, right? You just pay once and it's done. And it just feels a bit more reasonable. But also, to be fair, Adobe has a crazy amount of different programs that it's under its umbrella. So I don't know. What do I know? Yo, what's happening? We got Fedorevsky in the chat saying howdy. How's it going? How's it going, Fed? We're just reviewing some of my photos from 2018. So this is actually from the first time I did a Sri Lanka trip. And it's also my first time doing wildlife photography. So I was making some comments earlier, but my God, when I look at the photos that I took, they are so bad. It's like miserably bad. Laughably bad, I'd say. But which is good. It's so bad, it's good. Because I think I will make a YouTube video where I can break down, like, here's the first time I ever did wildlife photography. I think it's a feel-good message because, one, it's kind of to show to people, like, hey, look, if you think you can never do wildlife photography, you think, like, people are just born with that talent or the ability, I'm here to tell you, these were my top photos. These are the photos that I thought were 3-star, 4-star, 5-star worthy. So if anything, it should be very encouraging to you that everyone's got to start somewhere. And clearly I was not anywhere near the top of my game. The photos that I thought were amazing were complete trash. So yeah, I think it'll be a nice little feel-good message. Here's how far we've come. And obviously, I'm not saying this to be like, oh, I'm terrible, blah, blah, blah. It's just more like, hey, look, I feel confident in my, the things that I capture these days. I'm more confident about, like, I have the ability to make a capture look beautiful based on my perception of it. But it took training. It took, like, building a good eye for moments. It took a lot of understanding how to how to do, like, post-production as well. Also, a lot of learning what the beauty of having better lenses are. So, for example, here, I was shooting with a 70-200, which is fine, but for wildlife, it is a bit restrictive. I don't know what other lens I was using, though. What camera did you use on these old ones? It was a mixture of D810 and D850. So the D850 obviously being the more powerful of the two, but yeah, I mean, again, I was shooting with a 70-200. So I'm assuming I was dual wielding. So I was probably shooting with a 70-200 on one of them, and then the 24-70 f2.8 on the second lens, probably the D810. So, but there is a handful of photos from this selection, from this particular trip, that I did feel like were excellent. Like I even for my presets that I sell on my website and everything, some of those actually made it into that list of, like, okay, these are like my hero images. that to this day are still some of my top photos. So it's not like a complete wash. I'm not trying to completely trash my skills or whatever. It's just there was a lot of hits and a lot of misses. Way more misses than hits. Let's bring this over. How's it going, Fed? Hopefully, oh yeah, happy Friday. I forget if you said you're already traveling or you're on your way to travel, but if you're in Spain already, hopefully you enjoy. I don't know. I keep hearing that the weather is a bit insane right now all over the world, I guess, but everyone's making fun of Europe because apparently, I don't even know what the backstory is, but I felt like I heard stuff where people are saying how in parts of Europe there are some antiquated laws that prevent some people from having air conditioning units, or prevents them from being able to use it, or something in between. I don't know, but it sounded insane. Where it was just like people are literally dying. I think someone, my buddy, texted me saying like something like 7,000 people died in France. What did he text me? What did you tell me, my buddy? Oh, 1,000. 1,000 people died in France. That's crazy. I mean, listen, I came from the desert, so I'm used to that. But it feels like it should be preventable. But it's like that mixed with apparently it's hard to have AC in Europe. I was like, damn, son. Fed says Spain has AC everywhere. Okay, well, that's good. I think they were making fun of Germany. There's some post I saw making fun of Germany. So I should probably do a bit more research before throwing that out into the ether. Let's copy this. We have AC in every room in our house. We even got new units last year. Fed says you were supposed to learn over time, so it makes sense. We're flying tomorrow. Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. No knock on myself. I think it's great seeing the progress I made. And like I said, some of these photos ended up turning out quite nice. I wonder if this one's sharp. It's not sharp at all, but hopefully I can rescue some of it. This one's a nice pose. I chopped off part of the paw, but we might do a super wide angle on that one. Oh man, I remembered this part of the trip. I woke up super early, wandered around Ella, I think was the name of the town in Sri Lanka. And I think this is when I was practicing compositions as well. So I think this is actually a composition of 3 different photos. If I'm not mistaken, like I think I took a shot focus on the foreground, and then I took another shot for the, somewhere in the mid, and then the sky. And then I combined them into a single shot. I'm pretty sure. And I was so proud of myself. I was so into it. Like, man, I used to, thinking back, it was so much fun, but like I would do these early trips where, I'm still so new to photography. I would stay up all night if I needed to, just to like stay up in time for the sunrise, make sure I get the nice, beautiful landscape shots or whatever else I was practicing. And oh man, it was a lot of effort put in. It looks like I was using something called Aurora HDR 2018. I don't know if I still have that tool. I don't know what that tool was for. Maybe I was using it to merge photos. I don't know. But these photos look so terrible. Let's see, can I... Okay, let me bring this one over. At least some of these, it looks like I can redo the edit style. Let's see which one of those I can do. Yeah, so let me bring this one over. Jeez, man, these are nasty photos. And not in a good way. Okay. Fed says, I think the UK, because some nutcase politicians there said people buying AC was against their climate politics and a lot of other nutty stuff. But I mean, like, man, you need AC. What are you going to do? How do you not have AC? Buying AC was selfish and killing people in poor countries, etc. They said. So what? So people in the UK should rather die of heat shock, I guess. Maybe I'm not like I don't have really strong positions on most of those types of things. Like when it comes to climate change, I'm not like some person who denies it or whatever. I just think sometimes efforts are not put in the right place, or like, yeah, like scapegoating certain people. Like I know plastic straws were like a huge thing where people talked a lot about like, oh, you know, it's like harmful, which I don't doubt that is harmful. But then it's like for every attempt to ban plastic straws, are there like other efforts you could have used that money for that would have had a bigger impact? Not to say I know what that would be, but yeah. Like telling people not to have AC? Come on. If anything, well, yeah, and then the problem is with climate change, you would think that the temperatures would rise, so which would then, demand more need for AC in the future. So it's kind of like a, unfortunately, worst of everything now. Dator says, nice image. Thank you very much. I'm assuming it's this one because I was on it for a little bit. I think it's okay, but it's kind of ugly at the same time, if you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot. Okay, if I were to apply my lens to it now, looking at this shot, I would say there's just too much going on here, right? Like there's way too much noise in terms of like there's a lot of distraction with the greens in the foreground. The mid ground is like decent, but then we've got also this tree that's kind of in the way, right? So it was kind of a poor judgment on my part, because obviously I took the time to set up this camera on a tripod and take this thinking this is a good composition, but I feel like it would have been better if I just shifted a little bit just to not have this bit of tree in the top left, because it's not really serving a purpose here at all besides blocking the view. The sky itself is interesting, but there's a lot of focused lighting in just like one area, and I got to double check. Hopefully I can recover some of this. I don't know. There's just a lot going on here. It's a very HDR look, and I feel like if I'm able to, I'd rather kind of zoom in on the shot. So hopefully as we work on this photo, I might end up doing more of a cropped in perspective. I don't know exactly where, but it might be like focused in more like this or something. We'll see. We're gonna do our best. The claim says, Fed says, yeah, the claim the politicians say is using AC kills the climate and that harms poor people in the southern hemisphere. So using AC to fight the heat of AC supposedly makes the issue worse. I don't know. It's all very strange arguments reminiscent of Greta Thunberg. Where's Greta from? Is she Swedish or Norwegian or something? But yeah. Anyways, yes, so Adobe, not the best. Not the best reputation, at least. All right, what other videos do we want to watch? Color grading one. Oh, yeah, there was one about the NAS storage system. I should maybe look into that. Ooh, there's this, the creator, Coffee Yeboah. Coffee Yeboah. I discovered this guy because he discovered me first, which is kind of cool, right? But after I published my first and only short film, The Island of Second Chances, from back in August, he apparently watched that video because I guess he also shoots with Nikon and other gear. And I think he donated money to me or something. He left a message, very kind of him. And so then I discovered him a bit further, and I subscribed to him, at least on my main YouTube channel. I guess I'll subscribe on this one as well. Yeah, he seems like the type of guy that I want to emulate as a creator. You know, he's got a lot of energy. He can do these like one take, spewing out a bunch of knowledge or information, and he does a bunch of filmmaking stuff. So he's actually doing the thing that I almost was able to do, which is kind of ironic. He's shooting a documentary in the Arctic. So if you recall, back in March, I was planning a trip to go to Norway to film the sled dogs and all of that fun stuff. But unfortunately, with the war situation, some other things, I just wasn't able to lock it in place. So I was going to do it in the future. And he actually ended up doing it. So I was like, okay, let's check this out. So shooting a documentary in the Arctic using a Nikon ZR and the Red Raptor behind the scenes. Fed says she's Swedish. Gotcha. I like Coffee. Coffee shoots different brands. Yeah. I was going to say, I felt like I've seen him shoot with some other brands before. But, like, he's someone that I might reach out to just to see, like, if somehow in the future I could collaborate with him. I do need to build my channel up more before I can, you know, feel confident to reach out to him in that sense. Because, you know, he's close to 100K. I'm close to 10K, right? So we're talking multitudes here, or multiples here. But yeah, hopefully in the future, as we manifest what is possible for us as a creator, I do hope in the future he would be one of those that I could do like a travel project with. Because I forget where, he's done some stuff in Africa. I don't know where he lives exactly, but I know he's done some things in Africa. So maybe we can team up. So that is a thought, a hope that I have eventually. Anyways, let's check this out. Oh, Fed, by the way, I did do something different. It's like a mediocre solution for my situation. You'll notice I've now shifted the video feed just above the chat. So now it doesn't disrupt my full screen editing. It does mean that the YouTube video itself is tiny, but it's a little bit larger than I think I had it before anyways. It's just, you know, this is the only way I could have the best of both worlds. So now I can do very clean photo edits without ever having picture-in-picture blocking my view. And then I guess if I do want to do full screen, I can always drag it over as needed. But yeah, I figured the way I'm doing it is because I have the teleprompter here, the Elgato teleprompter, which comes with its own display that can be used as a monitor display. So I figured, okay, I'll just drag it there. And then it's like, it kind of works out because it's, you know, the monitor display, I think is, I don't know what the size is, but it's much bigger than, you know, watching something on, let's say, an iPhone, for example. So, you know, when I'm watching a full screen on YouTube here on the side, actually, it's like, you know, I actually can enjoy it while I'm doing my thing here. So, yeah. You said it's smart? Hells yeah. That's all I do. Smart stuff. Tag along with him when he goes home to Ghana again. Oh, yeah. That's what I think I saw him do something in Ghana. Yeah. I would love to film in Ghana. So, I think our very own Swiss Army Cinema, I think he's done stuff there as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I just need to send him a message, honestly. He seems like a very approachable person. So maybe I'll just need to send him a note and just be like, yo, I would love to travel with you somewhere and like help you out, be a secondary camera dude. What do you think? What say you? Actually, instead of just saying it, let me type a note to myself to actually do that. I might send him a note even tomorrow. Hold on. Message Yaboya, or no, what's his name? Coffee. Message Kofi about collab travel project. Ooh, maybe I can invite him on a film project of my own and be like, hey, what do you think? And then maybe I can tie it up with Nikon somehow. We'll see. I don't know. Fingers crossed. He was in Ghana for a while earlier this year. Yeah, I think I saw some of that video actually. So, all right, let's watch.
We are here in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, Canada. We are shooting a documentary on dog sledding.
Man, he literally did the thing that I was gonna do, which is so funny to me. I mean, great minds think alike, obviously, but it's hilarious that he's doing the freaking dog sledding thing. Well, okay, my angle, I did want to do like a documentary style on dog sledding, but also I wanted to test out live streaming of the dog sledding as well. So I still want to do it. Ask him to go on safari. Yeah, for sure. That is one of my goals is once we get this live stream situation done with the safari, I do want to invite other creators as well to join me. Because then it'd be like, yeah, spread the love, but like, why wouldn't people be excited to also access that kind of content? And hopefully the lodges that I work with, they'll be happy to have other creators there. So hopefully it's a win-win, but a lot of steps before we can get to that point.
50mm, front of the dog, 120.
It's frozen.
Well, we'll see what happens after they get the shot.
All right, Talbot, so what we're doing is we are going to go see Winter, who's our main subject, and I think
That's her name?
Yeah, her name is Winter.
Oh, cool.
Which is like a very Northwest Territories name, I guess. And we're about to go and see all of her, we're going to go see dog sledding, really. It's a family-owned business, and we get to talk to her and her dad because like it's passed down from generation to generation.
I don't know about you, but this is like...
Oh man, I wish Kavai was still in the chat. He was here earlier. Because they're saying someone named Winter. I wonder, because he had given me some names for who I could potentially interview, but I don't remember if their name was Winter. I feel like I would have remembered that. But
bucket list item for me.
Oh, 100%. Like I think
dog sledding in the Arctic.
J'ai pu rencontrer Kofi et Boa à Toronto, puis on parlait comme quoi que on avait tellement une belle culture au Canada et on trouvait que le sport était présent dans chacune des provinces et des territoires. Chaque province est unique à son genre, donc on s'est donné un challenge de voyager pendant toute l'année.
This is actually so hilarious. Okay, as I continue manifesting this world where I'm now collaborating with Coffee, I will be relaying the story to him in person about like, yo, do you understand how crazy alternate timeline overlap situation we were in? Because literally, I think it was ringing a bell in my mind too. As we were having discussion on these streams back in March about trying to plan out a trip to the Arctic, right? To go to Norway and like film the dog sledding. He was literally planning or prepping to go there. So it's like there's a funny world where it's like we could have collided in our own different ways on our own different projects. And there's a world, another alternate world, where somehow I was able to join and be a part of whatever he's doing. That would have been a really cool situation, obviously. But anyways, it's kind of funny. But...
Aller récolter des témoignages avec des gens, voir un peu leur mode de vie.
I think filming sports across Canada kind of demystifies how people look at Canada, because like most people will think, oh well, everyone lives in igloos and ride polar bears, and the only way you kind of get rid of things like stereotypes, or the only way you kind of learn anything is by traveling and hearing the stories of people that actually live there. But I also wanted to cover sports. That's been my wheelhouse in terms of what I've been filming for a while. So, and each province has a sport that's unique to them in a certain way. So the idea was to get a sport in every province and territory in Canada.
You're already on it. Nice work, dude.
Power's on.
So we are technically in the Arctic, and the Arctic...
Brandon Talbot. I think that's another person I was following on YouTube. I think he also did some Nikon stuff, maybe. Maybe that's how I saw him. Fed says, I'm rendering the last of 3 videos from the last trip to Spain. I'm setting up to launch on my channel when we are away. Nice, nice. Something is weird. The audio is doubling. Uh-oh. Testing, testing. Let's see. Testing, testing. Is it still doubling? 1, 2, 3. Or maybe it's when I play this.
Poses a whole bunch of challenges I personally haven't faced before. When I arrived, it was negative 41 degrees. That's Fahrenheit and Celsius. You get low enough and they equal out. But negative 41 degrees poses a lot of challenges.
How about now? Was it doubling then? And he said negative 41. Man, listen, I've been in those situations. I would have been a perfect match to be a part of their crew. I swear. Only the video audio, not you. Okay.
The first one being, it's so cold that you can get frostbite very quickly, and you have to be very mindful about your clothing. It takes a lot more preparation in the morning to just go outside. Then when it comes to the cameras and the camera gear, there's also a lot more care that needs to be put into that gear. You can go from warm to cold without any problems, but going from cold to warm poses a problem.
One of the things that may happen when you go from cold to going back into heat is you're going to get a lot of condensation on your lens. Now, this is the Atlas Mercury. It's built like a tank, but just physics is physics. And if you go from something really cold to something really warm, you may fog up glass and metal. And that's going to be a problem because you won't be able to use this until it all goes away. So that's something you got to keep in mind working in the cold.
Probably the most insane, unique experience I've had was the other night. We came to film and we got an opportunity to sit in a toboggan and be pulled by the skidoo. They call it a skidoo. And we were able to film the dogs. However, I don't think any of us realized the amount of spray that was going to come off the back of the sled. And this isn't nice, gentle spray. This is freezing icicle spray.
So we're trying to get a couple night shots, and this is more difficult than we expected. All LCD screens aren't lasting very long inside of this cold. I'm realizing that, like, trying to manual focus.
Man, I do really want to travel with coffee. It's weird to say, just hearing him talk briefly here and there, but I think he and I would get along. That's all I'm saying. Okay, but obviously they're doing some heavy rig, professional looking stuff, which does kind of make me feel a bit intimidated because I've only shot with that handheld ZR, but yeah, it doesn't look too crazy. I guess it's just they have a big monitor. They got their cage, probably got that big battery, some little handles, shotgun mic, I'm assuming. I don't know. Brandon Talbot does a lot of Nikon ZR videos. He's originally a Red guy. Yeah, I think I've seen both of them pop up at the same time. Maybe both of them actually donated to me. I forget. I know one of them did. I know Coffee did. And there's another big YouTuber at the time who did as well. I thought it was you, Fed, who mentioned like, oh, these guys are big YouTubers, back then. It sounds like hall reverb, like he's in a huge hall. Gotcha.
When it's like negative 30 outside, it's not a move.
Dude, your face, Tuck?
Yeah.
Tucker's face is completely frozen.
I can't feel anything.
I'm kind of worried about that.
So in the pre-production, the one shot I really wanted is I wanted like a slow motion, like dog sled roller where I'm at the front of the dog sled getting a shot 120 frames a second. Now, in my head, I was like, it'd be great if I can get that on the Red Raptor. It's like, I guess, the highest image quality.
Okay, let's check out that screen here. Actually, this is probably deserving of a full screen.
You can get out of
Hold on.
my head.
Let's bring this over. Okay, so this is what? His Raptor with... I gotta learn all the terminology. So is that called the V mount or the V something mount battery? So he's got the big battery on the back. The Condor Blue, I recognize that brand. So he's got the Condor Blue top handle on which he's attached the big ass LCD monitor or something. He's got some Tilta or small rig looking double jointed, weird looking articulating stuff on top of the Condor. I don't know what they attach on top of there, but it looks interesting. Then what's all this cabling? He's got something off to the side. What do you call these? He's got those connector rods onto the big ass tripod. And on the front of it, he's using a fancy looking lens and probably some kind of ND filter system in the front.
I was like, it'd be great if I can get that on the Red Raptor. It's like, I guess, the highest.
What is this? ND, oh yeah, I can read it a little bit. It says ND Pola, so polarizer, and diffuser. Nice. Okay, so he's got a cool ass system that does all of the necessary things.
Image quality you can get out of any of the cameras we have.
What's the company for this? Triple stage?
It'd be great to get that. There's like two problems here. One, manual focus everything, which is really hard when you're on a skidoo hanging off the side of it when there's dogs running at you.
No kidding. Fed says, Brandon was the guy who showed me that nice camera LUT for the ZR that helped with monitoring early on before the firmware that added the red line. For some reason, you're running double audio tracks. It's super loud and weird. Ooh. Maybe it's because it's on a new display. Hold on.
And then this.
Ah. Okay. I didn't realize the display has its own audio coming out. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so now it should be fine. Hold on. Let me double check.
Second part of that is when you're outside in the cold, the LCD lags.
I think it's better now, right? Hey, look at Nala. Look at this pretty girl. She really wants her treats. What are you doing? Come on. I thought kimbap was bad when it comes to trying to... Hey, not the desk. You know the rules. Yeah, that fixed it, but now it's a bit low. Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. Let me first... Nala, come on. Okay, it's because now I gotta do a little bit of... Hey, come on. Nala, stop. What are you doing? Crazy girl. Okay, so that means I need to open up the Rodecaster. Nala, come on. Oh, no. Get down. No. Man, my cats never listen to me. They should know better. But I should know better as well that they don't listen to me. Okay, so then you said the audio was low. What can I do about that from the video? Video is playing in full audio or full volume.
So you don't actually, like, you're just guessing what your focus is at that point. And
okay, I see. So it's on the USB 1. So if I just lift it up a little bit.
the first time I did it, I thought everything was in focus. Like, I have little peaking lines on it. I'm looking at the shot and I'm like, that's non-focus at all. Like, it looked terrible. And I figured, I'm like, you know what? Let me swallow my pride. Let me take down.
Okay. I think I fixed it. I hope. That fixed it, but now it's a bit low. Nala has an idea. She won't be stopped. Yeah. I mean, she sees the treats on my desk, basically. Look at her. She is laser focused. She's no different from Kimbap right now. You know what? I might as well just give her the food. But the problem is I got to see where my other cat is. Because if he sees me giving food to her, he will go nuts. Okay. Coast is clear. I just don't want to deal with both of them right now. Hey, sit. There you go. All right, it's just this is a cat eating stream. Oh, there comes the other cat. Kimbap recognized. Hey, get down. The other one recognized the sound of Nala chewing on something. Okay. Well, now I feel bad. No. Sit. Nala, no. No, Nala, get down. No, Nala, get down. Get down. Okay, I gotta wash my hands now after this. Hey. Calm down. Alright, last ones, okay? 2 for you. Okay. Now get down. Come on, get down. No more. No muss. All right, let me be right back. I gotta wash my hands and get rid of this residue of the treats. Look at my cats though. They're on a freaking mission, man. That's good. You might need to get those circus steps they can stand on when eating. Yeah. I got no more food. No more. All right, get down. Come on. Good boy. Oh. All right. Well, look at these guys. It's like all they want is food. All they care about is food. I mean, I resonate with that. I sympathize. No. Come on. All right. I will be right back. Let me just wash my hands. Okay. Problem solved. Yeah, I think those circus steps could be useful. Oh, Jesus, like he's kind of creepy sometimes, because now he chased after me over in the kitchen, and I look away, and here he is already like standing behind me. You creep. Keep up, I see you, man. Okay. We've taken care of one problem. Let's keep going now.
Let me take away the...
Man, that was a good framing too, though. Hold on.
And I figured, I'm like, you know what? Let me swallow my pride.
I like this shot. What was he filming with? So I wonder if he's doing this behind the scenes with the ZR or with the Raptor. I wish he had put that as an overlay. Obviously, selfishly, I wish he had put that like, hey, this is currently shot with the Raptor. This is blah, blah, blah.
Take down, let me take away the anamorphic lenses, and let me just shoot it spherical and autofocus. Like, that's what they're for. I would rather get the shot than be upset that I couldn't get it at one point.
That's funny he's saying that, because I'm the exact opposite, because I've never shot with anamorphic. I've never shot with these fully manual focus lenses. So I would have actually been just shooting with my, you know, fully autofocus mode. You know, so maybe not as good quality as the stuff he's used to, but I wouldn't miss the shot as often, I guess.
Three times anamorphic on a Raptor. So we threw this on the ZR. We got the RS5.
And he's got the RS5. I do have the RS5 as well, so more reason that I need to learn how to shoot with the gimbal, so that I can feel comfortable traveling with a gimbal on my upcoming projects.
And we ran it again, put it to 120 frames a second. And one big thing on the ZR versus something like the Rev Raptor or the Komodo X is the autofocus. And particularly, it has animal autofocus. So I could just throw it on the autofocus. The screen's still lagging, and I'm just hoping for the best. We threw it down. Oh
yeah, because the screen lag is something I dealt with on that first trip to Mongolia, or both trips, but in that negative 40-degree weather. I thought the camera shut down. I didn't realize it was still recording. It was still taking photos. It was just that the screen was delayed. So if I'd known, I would have kept shooting at times, but yeah.
For a run, and it was perfect. I mean, everything was in focus. And like everything looked as good, if not a little bit better than what we expected on the way in. Like it's exactly what I wanted. Hang on. Let me go. No, that's it. When you have hot fire, you gotta put it.
Dude, that looks amazing.
Yo.
It held up really, really well.
That's like buttery smooth.
The dynamic range that we have.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
You gotta come see this.
Whoa. Okay, I could die happy. You're good. We're not done the documentary yet.
On a eu la chance aussi de faire des tests, de travailler avec la Nikon.
Coffee is he speaks like a mile a minute, but he enunciates everything. He's articulate. He's not like stumbling over his words, and yet he's like spewing out so much information quickly, which I think some people would argue you should slow down. I disagree. I think it's like it shows his energy and his, you know, just his ability to, you know, convey himself. I like that energy. So Fez says, we shot with a Panasonic S5 in -25 for over an hour once. No issues, besides the battery lasting less time and the metal parts hurting my fingers. Yeah. Camera's rated down to 0, so -25 is pretty hardcore for that camera. Yeah.
How small and portable and easily riggable that camera is. If you get the right cage on it, we actually attached it to the front of the dog sled using a couple of city jaws and some magic arms.
Actually, this is really good to see, because this is all those questions that I had. Again, it's so funny. I swear I'm going to be best friends with Coffee at some point, okay? And we're going to laugh over beer as we joke about, oh, remember that time we did this? But it's like literally this video is exactly what I was planning to do, right? If you guys remember, I mean, this is, you know, months ago now, but I was literally talking about, hey, what do these dog sleds look like? How could I rig up a camera to the front of it? How would I be able to do a live stream? Is there space? Like if we have the Rodecaster video switcher and stuff in a case, can we put in the front? And then, you know, do we hook up a camera in the front there so we can always capture a front facing point of view? Would the dogs be in the way? So is it better to have it a little bit higher up? There's all these questions, and we actually get to see in action here. It's like, God dang it, man. I should have been on this trip.
Four days here, basically shooting dog sledding, shooting with the dogs, shooting with trainers, shooting with Winter, we're shooting with the family, and we've like watched like groups of people go on runs and how much fun they're having. They're coming back in and telling us how fun it is, and up until that point, none of us had been on the dog sled yet. We filmed a bunch of it, but we never actually went on it, and I think everyone got kind of bummed out, I think yesterday when we were about to leave, and we had realized like, yeah, we'd actually never took a ride yet, and then David gets a text message, and now we're on dog sleds.
We're going dog sledding!
Yeah! Woo! That's cool, man. He's doing the thing that I want to do. So it's very what's the word? Inspirational. And I definitely am like, man, I need to just message the shit out of him and Brandon and be like, yo, let me in on the next one. I already know the trips that I really want to film, right? The top ones. Yo, what's happening? We got Cyronius in the chat. Yo, what's happening? Shout out to Cyronius. Yo, man, I'm feeling super amped right now, Cyronius. I'm feeling the energy. I'm like, damn. We were just watching a video from Coffee Yaboy, and Brandon Talbot, like a behind the scenes of a documentary they're doing of freaking dog sledding, which is like, hey, Cyron. I just called my cat Cyronius. I was like, Cyronius, sit down. Good girl. Hey, Nala. Come on, relax. I just gave them some treats, and I had the treats on my desk, and so they've been going nuts thinking food is about to arrive again. There's no more food. No mas. No mas. What was I saying? Oh, and then Fed says the Red Sea Raptor is rated -40, like most mirrorless example. For example, V Raptor, not C Raptor. Craptor. Yeah, they can't go with the C Raptor. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So I forget, Cyronius, if you remember, if you were there, this is back in Feb. I was planning a trip to Norway to see if I could actually film and do like a mini documentary style of dog sledding. And so shout out to Kavai, who was helping me out with figuring out the details of that. It never ended up working out for the timing, just because the war happened in Dubai, and it's just like, it was too much random shit. So I was like, let me just focus on the 3 projects that I knew I had on the docket. But I was like, oh, I'll put it in the back burner. I'll do it eventually. And I wanted to also test out live streaming, right? So kill 2 birds, learn how to document more, and also learn how to live stream. And literally at the same time that we were having those conversations, Coffee was also in his own, you know, what do you call it? Like a alternate universe timeline, whatever the fact. He was on this trip. I think literally as the same days, basically, that I wanted to do this kind of trip to Norway, I think he was also in Norway, or I don't know where they were, but like somewhere in the Arctic to make a documentary about freaking dog sledding. So it's like, wow, talk about universes not colliding. But I did make a note to myself that I am going to reach out to Coffee and Brandon Talbot and just be like, I think you guys are missing an Asian camera operator. That's the one thing missing that would make you guys have the perfect future, right? I see your future, and it's this Korean dude holding a camera. So I need to convince them to let me join in on some of their future stuff. But I was like, it's just kind of crazy to think that literally I speak about this on my streams and he's doing the thing. It's not like I, heard from him that he's doing it and I stole the idea from him or he stole it from me. It's just like, just in separate worlds, we were both trying to do the same thing. And obviously he actually did it. I only could ponder about it. And he actually did it amazingly with, like a full-on film crew and stuff. So, but it is inspirational, or it's encouraging to me that these things are possible. Eventually I do need to figure out how to get a film crew and all that kind of stuff. But maybe in the future, he might be willing to join me on some of my trips, or I can hopefully tag along on one of theirs. But yeah, the main things I still do want to do is the reindeer tribe, right? So that's the other documentary I want to do, which would then span across at least 2 different countries, right? We would want to do one in Mongolia and then one in either Norway or I think it was Sweden, where there are some of the reindeer tribes there. So maybe I should reach out to him and just be like, hey, you clearly know what you're doing. You've got all the gear. You've done this stuff in the Arctic as well. What if you team up, get a budget together and all that? So Cyrone says nuts. Cultural diversity, yeah. I think only Ari. Oh, you're right. Hold on. I was just kind of kidding about the Asian stuff, but because you got Brandon, who is, I'm assuming he's American. I don't remember hearing an accent, so I'm assuming that means it's my own accent. So we've got Coffee. Did I say Brandon? I don't know. Coffee is Ghanan, apparently. That's what Fed was saying. He's from Ghana. Or no, his ethnically he's Ghanaian, but I'm assuming he was born and raised or he grew up in the States. Then we've got Brandon, who I have no idea what his ethnicity is, but did I hear an accent when he spoke? I don't think so. Where is Brandon? Show me your face, Brandon.
Our gear, there's also a lot more care that needs to be put into that gear.
Yeah, okay, so we got 2 Americans basically. Ghanaian. So we got 2 Americans. Actually, I'll be the 3rd American, right? So 3 Americans, that'll be the unifier, our language and culture somewhat. And then, but they don't have an Asian. So, what the hell, guys? I will be the DEI hire. Fed says, I think they shot that racing the North in Canada. Okay. So yeah, right now I'm feeling amped. Because it's like, God damn, this is literally, I'm envisioning a world where I'm tagging along with them on this exact project. Because it was something I was hoping and planning to do, and they actually just did it, and I didn't. But it would have been nice, And then it would have been another Nikon ZR shooter. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, I've got some film projects I'm trying to pitch in Uganda for the chimps and the shoe bills, and then the one I mentioned, I need to put more work into figuring out the reindeer concept, but yeah, we'll get that done today. Ooh, especially now that Claude is back. The Claude Fable, since that's back, I feel like I need to spend some time just like pitching a bunch of stuff and see if it can help me come up with like good concepts and everything. All right. Anyway, so that's what we got through. And I am reviewing my old photos from the first Sri Lanka trip. There's a few gems in here in terms of like interesting shots. You can see I was doing a lot more landscape stuff, but I was also going a little overkill with the lighting and the colors and stuff. So it wasn't necessarily my best work, but at the time, I thought it was some of the best things that I had captured. So the irony is palpable. All right. The problem is I watch the YouTube on my live stream channel. So if I send a message, it's not like me, it's my stream me. So I need to remember to maybe leave a comment later. Dan Mace, that was the person mentioned the other day by Maple. I needed to look into this storage device system. Let's keep. What was it called?
The Ugreen DXP 4800 Pro is a really solid way.
Ugreen storage device versus Oyen Fortis. I wonder if there's a YouTube video on this. Ditching the cloud. My experience with Ugreen's fastest NAS. It's from a year ago. Synology versus Ugreen NAS. This is all for. Oh, look, Coffee did one. Yo, we gotta watch Coffee's. I do trust him.
Now, as far as disclaimers go, this is a sponsored video by Ugreen, so this is at best going to be a showcase of all of its features, and also I want to explain how a NAS system actually works. Also, if you notice that I changed my shirt, that's because I made a couple of mistakes in this video, and also I'm on my way to Cine Gear, so we're also going to be talking about this on the way to California. Let's talk NAS systems. Now, in talking about a RAID system, we are going to use these 4 terabytes, the 16 total as our example, but what a RAID system is going to be is a redundant array of independent disks. I have 4 independent disks, and I want to make a redundant array just in case, you know, something fails, because stuff happens to good people. So we're going to go into each one of these 4 common modes.
I'm good people.
Now, a RAID 0 is kind of just going to be the unsafest one possible, but it's also going to give you the most speed. And essentially what a RAID 0 is that there is no redundancy. You're going to put in all 4 drives that are 4 terabytes each, and you're going to have 16 terabytes to work with. The only thing is that if one of those drives fail, all of them fail. So if you win as a team, you win as a team, and if you fail as a team, you fail as a team. I made 2 sports references in this video, but this is going to be a while.
He missed a reference. Or maybe I'm stupid. I thought he was going to go with the 3 Musketeers reference. All for one and one for all. And he had 3 drives too. Missed out, man.
Odd one in a little bit. Now, again, RAID 0 is going to give you that speed, and it's also going to give you the full storage space. However, I think the entire point of having a NAS system is also going to be that backup and data security. I shoot on a lot of cameras that are 2K and 4K and 6K. They're all the Ks. And one of the things is some of those things are for clients, or some of those things are for a DP reel that I might need somewhere in the future. And nothing sucks more than trying to look for a clip that you can't find because you deleted it. And I've done it. So don't do it. Now, the next thing we're going to go with is going to be a RAID 1. Now, RAID 1, essentially, you're going to need 2 drives, and then the redundancy of the independent disk is going to be one of them. You're going to be able to carbon copy one of the disks onto the other disk.
I am familiar with those terms, so let's see. What is PAR? Okay, I just want to know if he stakes his... If he vouches for the system, if I should consider it compared to like the Oyen Fortis or some other things.
Now, RAID 5 doesn't refer to needing 5 drives because this only has 4 drives in it, so don't get confused by the number, by the amount of drives in there. But essentially what it's going to do is it's going to create something called parity. Now, I'm going to make a wild reference here, and it's going to make sense by the end of the time that I mention it. If you remember Lord Voldemort, which I hope a lot of you do from Harry Potter, essentially for him to be able to resurrect, he split his soul amongst 7 different places called Horcruxes, and when you collected them all, he was able to become, well, Lord Voldemort again. RAID 5 works exactly the same way, except with hard drives and not different random items in the wizarding world. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to create something called parity. Now, as I set up my 16 terabyte RAID system in...
Fed says, you need to set up like this. You have too many terabytes for regular drives. Yeah, and so just for context again of why this is even a topic, last week, my 44 terabyte, which is actually turned on right now, and it's working, no issues. But I also had to delete a bunch of stuff from it just to give it a bit of headroom space or whatever you call it. My G-RAID 44 terabyte hard drive, it crashed on me a couple times, and then the last time, it gave me the red ring of death equivalent. It had a red light on the front. So that I did panic initially at the time. But the good news is everything was backed up already, but it just doesn't feel good to have 44 terabytes worth potentially getting completely wrecked. So that's part of the reason I didn't stream for the past week up until I think yesterday I came back, was because I was busy behind the scenes just trying to figure out what to do with my storage. I didn't want to like have things hooked up at the time. So yeah, and then that turned into a conversation like, what should I do? Because right now on my desk, what you can't see is I've got way too many hard drives now. I do have this new one, which apparently is kind of part of what the NAS system would allow for. Hold on. Can I lift it up? It's kind of heavy. This thing is so heavy. So I bought one of these recently. It's like I don't know what you call it, but you have this little platform which allows you to slot in these little big discs. And I guess these discs are the same discs that work for these NAS systems. So it's like universal formatting or whatever. This is the first time I'm ever working with something like it. So apparently you can just like, take it out, slot it into, oh yeah, we had it here on his screen. So that big ass thing, I just don't know the names of these things, but I guess they are hard drives. The NAS hard drives, yeah. So in a sense, I have already started the process. I've got 2 of these. Each of these are 24 terabytes. And it costs $1,000 each, okay? So my money is going way down the drain. But it's like money I know I have to spend. I have no other choice. Like, this is the world. This is what I signed up for. I have to do it. So please donate to my... please watch my YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Help me out. Because I got to make up for a lot of money being spent. But... So I'm starting the process of building out, I guess, this kind of NAS system or whatever you want to call it. But prior to that, what do I have? I've got the G-RAID 44 terabyte. I've got a G Drive SanDisk 8 terabyte. I've got the SanDisk Pro Blade system with like 4 blades, which have 4 terabytes each. So it's 16 terabytes total. I've got 2 of these WD Western Digital 18 terabyte hard drives. And then I've got 2 Lacy 16 terabyte hard drives, all on my desk, just like all arrayed in front of me. And then I've got a bunch of backup from Backblaze that I had purchased in the past. So it's just like way too messy. And some of these drives are probably not best to be editing straight off of. Like, I'm assuming some of these should be considered, I don't know, like cold storage, or, you just back up your shit and then don't keep plugging it into your computer, leave it be as backup. And then some of these can be used for editing in the moment. So every time you guys see me editing on Lightroom or, within DaVinci, technically, I guess that would be an example where it is pulling from different projects that I have. Let's see. So for example, we've got the travel vlog. Let's open this one up. Of course, that takes forever as well. Anyways, so yeah, all of that is pulling from these hard drives that are all connected, but I know that's not best practice. I'm probably burning through those hard drives in terms of the hours that I have it on, plus like it's just not correct usage. So I think I have to do a whole refresh. I need to really think about what's the best way to build out a proper system. And one of those ideas was that I need the NAS thing. So Fed, you mentioned headroom gets crazy when you have a single drive with 44 terabytes. Yeah. I mean, one thing I think Claude might have told me this. The recommendation is usually you need to have, is it like 10% or I don't know, 15 or 10 to 15% of headroom or empty storage space on your drives in order for your drives to operate most effectively or efficiently. Because apparently if you fill it up to its maximum, which is what I've done, by the way, like most of my drives, if it's 44 terabytes, it was basically at like 43.8 terabytes. So that's probably why also it kind of burned through the hard drive quickly. So I'm doing all the wrong things. Swiss Army Cinema, our boy, Swiss Army Cinema in the YouTube side of chat, he had recommended a while back the Oyen Fortis something, and apparently it leverages these big NAS hard drives that I have, and it can allow up to like 150 terabytes within this storage space system. And apparently it allows you to edit much faster. Like it's all Thunderbolt 4 or higher. And so that sounds like actually what I should be using, where I can hook up all of my travels from the past 2 to 3 years and not worry about trying to edit off of a slow ass hard drive, and one that's not designed to be edited from constantly. So I think that's what I need to do. And then more recently, a buddy of mine recommended, he said he saw a video from Ugreen that had their own NAS system and also a cloud solution. So it's all, my world is all colliding where everyone's recommending certain things, and now we're seeing these YouTube videos about specifically that Ugreen NAS system. So I need to do some research and then figure out which of these is best for me. Fed says you need a bigger box with room for more disks, basically. Yeah, I have a RAID 5 with 6 by 16 terabyte disks, but even with that, I have to switch since I have more than 6 disks, so I might need to upgrade too. But it sounds like it's just a smarter approach, right? Because then, yeah, you just buy the disks and you can swap them in and out as needed. Whereas, yeah, mine is just a bit of a mess. So anyways, that's the current situation I'm in. What I need to figure out. Wait, did it not open? Travel. Oh, no. I need to open up Sri Lanka. That's the one. Open. Okay, while that screen is frozen, I'll just jump back to this. Yeah, and I guess he described the RAID 5 as well. So, but the problem is, these things cost a lot of money. Damn expensive. I think the Oyen Fortis one, it was like $2,000 or something. It's like, I know it's cheap long run, but holy hell, does it feel like I'm about to burn through all my cash. So make me feel better about myself. I don't know. Tell me how amazing I am. Donate money to me. Oh yeah, so this is the, yeah, for example, what are these hooked up to? Let me see. No, this one actually is hooked up to my Mac Studio directly because I did copy these files over directly, so that's fine. Okay. It also helps a lot with clutter when you have power cords for each HDD. You just need power for the cabinet. Oh my God, you're so right. Yeah, because I've got, again, if you look at my desk, it is insane. I've got USB 1, 2, yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8. At any time, I might have up to 8 hard drives hooked up to my Mac Studio. I'm literally using my Studio display, which has some Thunderbolt ports. I'm using some of those ports to have to hook up to some of these drives. I've got a hub. I got one of those like OWC hubs, which also then allows me to hook up all my other shit. It's a nightmare. So, yeah. We'll figure things out. All right, let's keep watching though. And
RAID 5, I am going to lose.
You said, yeah, I also used to have numerous HDDs like that. It's a pain in the ass. Yep. And like I said, I mean, right now I've dealt with one big scare. The good news is I have warranty on that G-RAID up until 2029. So it's just more a question. I need to make sure I have everything. Everything's backed up already, but it's 44 terabytes. So I need to figure out what I'm going to be editing in the near term, put them onto other drives that I have now, and then I'll take it to the shop, which they said it might take a couple weeks or so for it to be, whatever, assessed and then replaced. Ooh, okay.
25% of the hard drive space I'm going to have there, and maybe a little bit more if one of my drives is a lot more than the other ones.
Wait, what did he say?
The hard drive, 16 terabyte Wizarding World. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to create something called parity. Now, as I set up my 16 terabyte RAID system in RAID 5, I am going to lose 25% of the hard drive space I'm going to have there, and maybe a little bit more if one of my drives is a lot more than the other ones. But essentially what's going to end up happening is as I save files to that RAID system, bits and pieces of it are randomly going to select itself throughout the drive spread equally, so that way if something goes wrong, the other drives could actually repair the lost or broken drive. So for example, if I'm uploading this video to YouTube, it might be some odd gigabytes, whatever the case might be. It'll be equally split up between the 4 drives in my RAID array, and if one of my drives go down, the other 3 drives can pick things up. RAID 5 for me is one of my favorites because I still want maximum space and I do want the speed to be able to work with things if I do want to start editing off of those drives, but at the same time, you do got to sacrifice one of yours. But I mean, that's a small price to pay than losing everything, which you would do if you're using RAID 0. Now, there's also going to be something called a RAID 10. Now, this should just be called a RAID 10, and it'll make sense in a second. Now, we talked about RAID 0, and pretty much you're just going in willy-nilly and you're hoping for the best, which isn't the smartest idea possible. Now, what I will say though is RAID 10, basically what it does is it takes an even amount of drives that you have, in this case it'd be 4, and it splits the 2 up into 2 separate groups that could act and have the speed of a RAID 0, but at the same time have the redundancy of a RAID 1. That's a little bit confusing, so I'm going to again put that top-down example. If I have those 4 terabyte files, I have 16 terabytes. Essentially what's going to end up happening is that 2 of them will pair into like a little 8 terabyte RAID in itself, and the other 2 will do the same thing, and then those 2 become little buddies that go to the bathroom together to make sure the other one is okay.
Fed says, if you add a 20 terabyte and the others are 16 terabyte, you lose that 4 terabyte extra on that drive. There's also unraid that does mixed sizes. Wait, are you saying it chooses the lowest common denominator? I'm not understanding. So if I have if I have 16 terabyte NAS disk, and then I've got a 24 terabyte disk, you're saying maybe you're saying if I use a certain RAID system, it will then have to have parity, or like all drives have to have the equal amount of space used. So then it'll just choose whatever the lowest common denominator is. So it's like 16 terabyte on all of them. Is that what you're saying? I don't know.
Now, if one of the buddies in the bathroom are not okay, the other one is going to be able to save it. It just means that there's 2 sets of buddies in the bathroom now, making sure each other's okay. And
I like his analogies. On RAID 5, yeah, it does 16 terabytes. So if you add larger disks, they operate like 16. Oh, wait. Are you saying this is like a very specific number? Like it always chooses 16? Or are we just going with the example we just gave of whatever the lowest one is? So if I have a bunch of 24 terabyte disks, would it work with RAID 5 at 24 terabytes?
hopefully the buddies on the other one don't attack the first one, which doesn't happen in hard drives, and I hope doesn't happen when you go to the bathroom either. Ugreen also offers a bunch of different compatibility for a bunch of different HDDs and SSDs as well, and it constantly updates based on the user feedback. I am going to leave a little bit of a screenshot over here to show you what currently exists, but I'll also leave a link in the description to make sure that if you already do have hard drives you have in mind for the DXP 4800 Plus, you can use them and make sure that they work on that NAS system. And so you thought you can escape on Kofi, but he's going to give you the Ghanaian language of the day.
Oh, now, he said it. How do you pronounce it? What do you say? Ghanaian?
You thought you can escape on Kofi, but he's going to give you the Ghanaian language of the day.
Ghanaian?
Now, my nephew. So you thought you can escape on Kofi, but he's going to give you the Ghanaian language of the.
God dang it! He spoke too fast. Ghanaian. Okay, so we learned two things. He calls himself Coffee, so it is. Oh no, wait, shoot, we didn't learn. Hold on, I gotta pay attention more. Did he say Kofi or coffee?
On that NAS system, and so you thought you can escape on Kofi, but
Kofi. Okay, so it's pronounced Kofi. And then
he's going to give you the Ghanaian language of the
Ghanaian. Kofi is Ghanaian. Okay, we learned on RAID 5. Oh no, I read that already. So okay, we don't know yet.
Yeah. Now my nephew is talking about memories, but he has maybe forgotten to call his uncle on his birthday on April 24th. He did not call him. He did not bring presents. He did not bring me a Leica camera. He did not bring me the Black Magics or anything like that. He forgot his uncle. However, if he decides to improve his behavior, if he decides to have a good memory, like this Ugreen tin, I will say onwo nke pa, which means he or she has a good memory. So if you want to say someone is good at remembering things, like the NAS drive with the RAID system, you will say onwo nke pa. Now this NAS drive, this tin here, my nephew can store all of the tins when we are in Kumasi, when we are in Accra, when we're eating buffalo, when we're eating jollof. We can share all these photos.
Jollof.
And we can share all these videos. And I can share and I can make sure that I do not lose any tin. So, owo nke pa. Back to the video.
Why does that sound Thai? Kind of sound Thai at the end. Or am I thinking Vietnamese? I don't know. I started out with the 16 terabytes since those were the best price per terabyte at the time, so now it's limited to that when I use those. I see, so it's whatever you stick to at that point. Well, the good news is I have committed to having 2 of these 24 terabytes already, but my God, am I really willing to spend $1,000 for every 24 terabytes? I don't know. My money, man. More money, more problems, that's what they say.
Now, we're going to talk about the DXP 4800 now because, well, I still got to talk about that. I promised I would. Now, I only have 16 terabytes that are going to be in the system. Can store 112 terabytes on the DXP 4800, which means you get way bigger than 4 terabyte hard drives, just so we're on the same page. Which, just for some perspective, and I'm going to get my phone out because I am not the best at math since not being in school since, I don't know, 2017. That's about 7,600 1.5 gigabyte video clips and about 39 million photos. That is actually more videos than I have on this channel by like 35 times. So if I was to be able to make 501.5 gigabyte videos, I would have a lot of videos, but essentially we're just illustrating that it could hold a lot of information and with some redundancy. Now, as of late, I've been shooting on cameras that have very high resolutions, the Blackmagic Pixis, the Ursa, some of the Lumix offerings as well. And sometimes to even make these videos, I gotta go through the archive of previous videos that I have in order to make sure that I have enough footage to actually complete making these videos. Now, doing this on my older Synology GS4 Plus, it was a little bit on the slower side because it wasn't that fast. I understand this is probably a terrible place to put either one of these two, but this is my Synology DS4 Plus, and this is my DXP 4800. Now, my Synology is already set up, but I will make a comment about the speed. Whereas my Synology could top out about 226 megabytes a second, this guy is about 1250, which is a lot more.
Okay, so the Ugreen NAS is sounding more and more like what I should consider. Fed says, I think 20 or 22 is the sweet spot currently, but it was a while since I checked. Got it.
Or than my Synology.
Oh, you know what's funny? Man, I for a second I thought Claude was spying on me. After I Googled Ugreen, I was on the website and I was like, trying to figure out, what is it? Should I learn more about this Ugreen system? Afterwards, because my buddy was over and we were talking about it, I got an email from someone, it seems legit, whatever thing, but it's like, hey, we're from Ugreen and we were wondering if you want to partner with us and try out the Ugreen product, blah, blah, blah. But I think it was just because the cookies on the website. But initially I was like, yo, is Claude like selling my information to third parties? Now, the only reason I haven't responded to them is I think specifically it said they're looking for US based content creators, and I'm not technically based there. So unfortunately, I missed it. Maybe I'll still reach out to them, see if there's a counterpart, because if they can give me one of these units so I don't have to pay for it, I'm not going to complain, obviously. So
one thing I want to keep in mind, as you are transferring speed, your internet connection is going to matter if you're going to go wireless. I would recommend if you want the fastest speed, use an Ethernet cable, but this guy is going to be faster than this guy. Now, the Ugreen app does actually have RAW support for your photos. Oftentimes when you're going through a file folder sharing system and you're kind of going through the files, you might not be able to see RAW files as you can see your JPEGs. Having RAW support makes it a little bit easier, especially it helps you pinpoint which photos you actually need in RAW instead of just hoping for the best or remembering file names. The other thing that it does do is it does use AI to sort through different photos. That way you can actually distinguish people from your pets to different locations, and even something called an object recognition as well, which in this example here, I have a car where it found every single photo on my Ugreen drive that has the exact same car in it. It makes it a little bit easier to sort through photos, downloads, and as well as make albums. But the DXP 4800 can transfer up to 12.
You know what's kind of crazy in a sad way? Why that photo? I'm looking through all these photos from we did this crazy hike. I was with a friend of mine, and we did this crazy hike up Adams Peak, I think it was called, in Sri Lanka. And stunning sunrise, 360 degrees. Unfortunately, I'm looking at all these photos I took. None of them. All of these are garbage. Which is sad, because, it's like, in many ways, in many respects, it's like, it was a really incredible view. You had to hike overnight to get to this view. I think it was like 6-hour hike at least, or something like that. It was so crowded at the top too. I think it was like some kind of public holiday. There's like a Buddhist, I think there's like a temple at the top. And so a lot of people were there for, I think it was like Buddha's birthday or something like that. I don't know. So I remember it was crammed at the top. Like we were stuffed. Like there was no breathing space almost. And, but the view was incredible. Unfortunately, my photos just don't do any justice to the view. So, what can you do? Maybe nowadays, like if I were to take the photo now, I would like to believe I could have figured out a better way to get the shot, but who knows?
150 megabytes a second, which is about a terabyte in about 20 minutes.
Damn!
That took significantly longer when I was doing it on my old Synology drive in order to get data onto the drive itself. And also because I have quite a bit of the 1 terabyte cards from Angelbird, that means that I could do data transfer on a full card in about 20 minutes. Which is just enough for me to watch the latest episode of Fire Force. And leave a comment in the description down below if you're someone that's watching that too. You could...
I'm not, but what the hell is Fire Force? Fire Force. Fire Force is a manga series? No. Or is it a TV series? TV series? Or is it an anime? Fire Force. See, I feel like I'd get along with Kofi. Excuse me. He's into some interesting stuff. I've never heard of this. But I mean, I dabble in a bit of an anime. Man, I was mentioning I was watching Berserk. Oh yeah, I think Fed, you might have even asked me this. Which Berserk am I watching? Yeah, I'm watching this one. Well, I mean, I guess it could be anything. Shoot. The 1997-2016 Berserk are not the same. 2016? No, I think I'm watching the older one. What was it, 1997? Let's see. What was the first episode about? Oh, wait. Why does this look so much different? Oh, shoot. Am I watching the newer one first? Okay, maybe I'm not watching in order. Whatever's on Crunchyroll, man. Okay, maybe I have to go back and see if I need to watch this first. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's been really fun.
Use the Ugreen app to actually sync some of the media that you've captured on the day back up into that NAS drive without even having to go home and spend all the time pulling out your cards and uploading information. So for example, if I'm somebody that is on a photo walk or maybe a smaller video job and I have a card reader that can go to an iOS device, I can use that Ugreen app to back it up onto my NAS drive, provided that my internet connection is actually pretty solid, and that way I can have a backup on my NAS drive before I even get home and then do a hard backup onto an SSD or something else. Now, again, that timing is going to vary, that speed is also going to vary, because keep in mind you're not on the same network if you're out in the field versus inside of your house, but the ability to do that, especially with smaller files.
Fez says, I think the new Berserk is like a season 2 made almost 20 years later type deal. Okay, what I can explain to you from what I remember, the anime, because you did question me on this, because I thought the animation was super clean, and I was shocked at the thought that this was like something made a long time ago, but the quality was like pristine. So maybe it is because it's from 2016 or whatever. Okay, so the first episode starts out, it does have this feeling like there's a lot of characters you don't know the backstory or the story behind. So it starts out with Guts being chased after by some religious organization. It reminds me of, what do you call them? Crusaders. So some crusaders are chasing after him, and then oh yeah, it starts off with a little fairy character and a little boy, a young kid and a fairy in this tavern, and the fairy is being picked on by some mercenaries or some brutes. They're like throwing darts at this fairy pinned to a wall or something, and then the young kid, I guess, works at the inn, and then Guts, the main character, shows up and rescues, not intentionally, it almost seems like he just like he rescues the fairy and the young kid almost by accident, just because the bad guys were in his way. And then it goes into this whole thing where he hitchhikes on with some old man and a little girl on a wagon, and then they get attacked by these demon characters. So anyways, hopefully that's enough to give you a context, but whatever that is, whether that's the one from 20 years ago type thing, or I don't know if that was from 1997 or 2016, but it's really fun. But it sounds like if that is the new one, it sounds like maybe I'm watching in the wrong order. I should probably watch the old one first.
Files like photos or short video clips helps out a lot. You could also share media from your Ugreen drive into a Google Drive as well. Sometimes when I'm doing a lot of these videos, there's going to be other people that you might see in videos, and we all have different footage of each other that we all have to share at the end of the day. I can back things up onto my Ugreen NAS drive, and then I can also use it to go onto a Google Drive as well. And that way, if I do have to send some footage direct to a client or somebody else that I might be collaborating with, it's easy to do that from my Ugreen NAS drive onto Google Drive. So that way, when I need to transfer footage, it's a lot less of a headache. Now, I wanted to compare the speeds and transferring this directly from my computer to my Google Drive. Now, it is going to say 1 minute here. It actually took about 1 minute and 45 seconds in order to get a file transferred over there, albeit it's not the biggest file in the world. Now, when comparing this to my DXP 4800 Plus, it's actually going to be quite a bit faster. However, when we're only talking about 1 minute and 45 seconds versus 1 minute and 21 seconds, it doesn't really sound a lot when you're talking about small files, but that could be the difference of a couple of hours, considering the difference is kind of close to 20% at that point. And also, if something goes wrong in even doing that, my RAID system will just put things back together again, and then Lord Voldemort will take over the wizard. I mean, you'll have drives that work. And if you don't want to use Google Drive, you can just send sharing links from Ugreen direct to people in the first place. So in terms of being able to back footage up in a very hasty fashion, which I like quite a bit, and as well as sharing with other people, be it a client or other creators, you can do that directly from this guy, which is a lot of fun and also incredibly useful. Now, that all to be said, if you're watching this, I'm already at Cinegear. You've already probably seen a lot of videos out of me, but I do want to make sure if you guys do want to save 15% off on the DXP 4800 Plus, I'm going to leave a link in the description down below. Maybe there'll be one on the screen. You could save yourself a little bit of money and also save yourself a lot of potential loss in your footage because you don't have a backup. That being said, a special shout out to Ugreen for sponsoring this video. NAS systems are kind of cool, and also it's probably going to save me in the long run. See you in the next one. Peace.
See you, man. Okay, I'm more convinced. Oh, okay, I'm definitely convinced I need to invest in like a NAS system. The question now just becomes, do I go with like a Ugreen product or the, what was it, the Oyen Fortis? Well, the one that Swiss Army had recommended. Let's see, 100 terabytes. I need one that's a bit bigger, ideally. Let's see. Is there 100? Okay, there's 121. Oyen Fortis 5C, the ultimate 120 terabyte storage solution. Tired of losing your data? Backup solutions using DOS. What the hell is DOS? And that's 3 years ago. Okay, we don't care anymore. Fed says, it sounds like it's just a new adaptation of the same manga, but starting from after the Golden Arc. So not a continuation of the 1997 one, but adapting a later arc from the manga. God dang it. This is, I get so confused with these things when there's so, you know what? It's like, this might not be the best example. What's that European or that British show with the telephone booth? It's like a sci-fi, and I guess they travel with it. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's that long-running sci-fi show where the main character hops into a telephone booth, a payphone booth. I don't know what you call that. Doctor Who. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I know people love that show, but I remember trying to figure out how do I even start watching it, and it was just so confusing. I don't know why. Like sometimes these shows, they do like these weird adaptations, or it's like they're not in order, and like if you want to start the show from scratch, you got to like start from actually this one first, which is it, you know, it's not easily labeled of like, oh, start from here. So, and then I give up. What can you do? All right, let's watch some other videos here. I haven't seen anything from our boy. I wanted to watch some stuff from our boy. Ooh, Muji, the brand that designed nothing. Peak consumerism. Stop moving your camera. This actually might be interesting because we have been learning a little bit more, like, because I tend to be the type who moves and tracks my subject. There's a lot of motion in my footage, and I do need to learn how to kind of just stick in one place.
Some of my favorite shots don't move at all, which is kind of funny because when I first started making videos, I tried every possible way to make a shot more interesting. Every cool shot seemed to require another person behind the camera. And honestly, sometimes it really does. But after filming hundreds of videos, I started noticing that the shots I loved most were usually the ones where I left the camera alone. The camera isn't moving, but somehow the shot still feels alive. Hi, my name is Pear and I have been creating videos for a while now. And 99% of my shots are filmed entirely by myself. No crew, no assistant, usually just me, a tripod, and a Sony a5100 trying our best. And over time, I started paying attention to why certain still shots worked, while others didn't. So in this video, I want to break down a few things I've learned. What makes a still shot feel alive? One thing I've learned is that when a shot isn't working, it's probably not about your camera. I'm sorry. Most of the time, it's the light. I have filmed in beautiful locations and somehow made them look totally boring. And I have filmed in random corners in my tiny house and end up loving the footage. Usually the difference was just where the light was coming from. Everyone has their own approach to lighting, but my recipe is pretty simple. I'll move about 45 degrees from the light source and shoot toward it. That way part of the subject falls into...
So Fed says the first... Oh, I missed something. Okay, so Fed says Doctor Who, the first season of Doctor Who was in 1963. So very few people have actually watched all of Doctor Who. Some parts of it were even deleted because that's how they operated back in the day. Damn. Okay. Yeah, that's like, unfortunately, too long standing of a show that I don't know if I could ever watch from scratch. Okay. Well, listen, it is now 10 p.m. and I'm starving. So I feel like this is going to be a good place for me to end it for today. I feel like we learned a lot. I have a lot of stuff. I took a lot of notes on my phone of things that I need to get done. I need to message Coffee. I need to look into this NAS system. I have to do a bunch of transferring of files regardless to kind of take all the 44 terabytes out of my G-RAID and then take it to the shop. I'm grabbing drinks tomorrow with some friends, so it'll be good to socialize, be a human being again. I feel like I forget to do that at times. Not that I'm complaining. So hopefully everyone does the same. You should enjoy the weekend. Fed says, I'm going to watch football. Australia versus Egypt. I wish I knew anything about football. I really don't. American football, I did. I just haven't had time for sports at all. But I do feel like I'm missing out for that reason alone. Because obviously we got the World Cup going. I see a little bit on social media, but I only catch the World Cup based on social media news. You know what I mean? So like what goes viral. So like that, there's that one racist Mexican fan who like made the Asian eyes at the Korean TikToker, and then that blew up all over social media, and then basically there's a witch hunt for the dude until he apologized and stuff like that. And then it was kind of a fun story though, because like all of Mexico, basically it felt like everyone came together to just be like, yo, we don't stand for that racism. And it seemed like it made it even more welcoming if you were Korean. Even though I think my understanding is Mexico beat Korea, maybe. I don't know. I'm making shit up at this point. That's the only news I saw from World Cup stuff. Norway is playing Brazil on Sunday. Okay. Oh, and then I saw the other thing was U.S. beat some country named... What is the country with the acronym BIH? Because I only saw something go viral where they're making fun of... it was like some Star Wars reference with... who's that one character? Jar Jar Binks. That's all I remember. So we will watch in Spain. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, listen, either way, U.S. beat Bosnia. Oh, is that what? No, yeah. Oh, there was something viral of that one as well, making fun of us Americans for our lack of culture and understanding. Because it was like, technically it's Bosnia and, how do you even pronounce it? Hers, no, it's like two names to the name. And so then there's like some American who posted like, why does the U.S. have to play against two countries now? What the hell? it was kind of funny. Yeah, anyways, happy Friday, guys. It was a fun stream. Thanks for being here. I will most likely take the weekend off as per usual, and then I'll be back on Monday. There's a world where maybe I will start getting back into streaming on the weekends as well. It's just as I learn to juggle life stuff and I guess everything's life stuff. What else? Well, my cat, at least one of them, Kimbap's somewhere else. We got Nala. Man, today was an interesting stream. My cats were going nuts, which is my fault because I had the treats on the desk. But hopefully you guys enjoyed because, my cats being cats is always fun. All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I will see you guys. Enjoy the weekend. I'll see you on Monday.